Harvest is just the time of the year to sing that old favorite, Shine On, Harvest Moon. Do you remember it? Well, if you don't, just follow me.
Shine on, harvest moon in the sky. High and blow out since January, February, June, July. No time, ain't no time to stay on harvest moon. So shine on, harvest moon for me and my gal. The night was mighty dark, so you could hardly see, for the moon refused to shine. Those little doves beneath the willow tree, for love they pine. Little Mabel cried, afraid of darkness, so she said, I guess I'll go. Boy began to sigh, then he looked up at the sky, then he told the moon his little tale of woe. Shine on, harvest moon up in the sky. Lying and no longer since January, February, June, July. No time, ain't no time to stay on harvest moon. So shine on, harvest moon for me and my gal.
Now let's hear it good and loud.
I can't see why a boy should sigh when by his side is the girl he loves so true. All he has to say is, won't you be my bride, for I love you. Why should I be telling you the secret when I know that you can guess? Shine along the while, if the little girl should answer yes, 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 yes. Shine on, harvest moon in the sky above me. Hiding in our love since January, July. So dry not to time to stay out, sit around so shine on, harvest moon, be my guest.
Harvest is just the time of the year to sing that old favorite, Shine On, Harvest Moon. Do you remember it? Well, if you don't, just follow me.
Shine on, harvest moon up in the sky. High and blow out since January, February, June, July. No time, ain't no time to stay on harvest moon. So shine on, harvest moon for me and my gal. The night
harvest is just the time of the year to sing that old favorite, Shine On, Harvest Moon. Do you remember it? Well, if you don't, just follow me.
Shine on, harvest moon of its stars. High and roll on since January, February, June, July. No time, take no time to stay. Harvest moon, so shine on, harvest moon for me, my guest. The night was mighty dark, so you could hardly see, for the moon refused to shine. Roses down beneath the willow tree, for love they pine. Little Mabel cried, afraid of darkness, so she said, I guess I'll go. Boy began to sigh, then he looked up at the sky, then he told the moon his little tale of woe. Shine on, harvest moon up in the stars. Lying and no longer since January, February, June, July. No time, ain't no time to stay. Harvest moon, so shine on, harvest moon for me, my guest.
Now let's hear it good and loud.
I can see why a boy should sigh when by his side is the girl he loves so true. All he has to say is, won't you be my bride, for I love you. Why should I be telling you the secret when I know that you can guess? Shine all the while, if the little girl should answer yes, 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 yes. Shine on, harvest moon in the sky above me. High and loud, since January, July. So try not to time to stay out. Sit around and so shine on, harvest moon for me, my guest.
Okay, I'm a fraud. I can't find the game. I've set up the whole stream and everything. And then the moment of truth arrives. And for some reason, I can't find the copy anywhere. Hello, Hello, Cassandra? Cassandra? Is that how you say it? Welcome to the stream when it actually starts. I feel like someone has absconded with the moon of the harvest variety. I don't know where the game went. It's been in... You picked the perfect song. Well, I'm doing alright, except for the fact they can't find the game. Which is really, really weird, because I've left it on this freaking desk since Harvest Moon Month. Sorry if the mic sounds like it's all over the place. It's because I'm literally moving everywhere. About to upheave this garage to find it, but I swear, where would it go? It's gonna be real awkward if I can't find the stream game. Either it's been yoinked. I went and checked inside, and I checked in all the game places where we store our video games, and I asked if anyone had seen it or if anyone brought it in, and the answers to all those questions were no. So now I'm awkwardly here trying to start a stream without a video game. I don't suppose it's in this box, is it? Nope, that's XD. I can't believe... Unless it's under, like, one of these box piles or something, but, like, it's all freaking everywhere. How? have absconded with my blonde. Someone put it in here. This is what I get for starting stream without having all my peas in the pocket or whatever you call it. It's not inside, so it has to be in like one of a couple of places. Sonic Adventure stream early. Peas in the pot, as they say. Somehow that don't sound right, but I'm too confused to argue. This whole thing is coming apart. Peas in pot, pigs in blanket. I don't know. Wait, I think that's... Wait, is that where it is? I think I found it. Maybe. Yo, we in there. I found it. Stream not aborted. Very sorry for that, everyone. I should have double checked before, but I thought it was there on top of the nightstand, like not the nightstand, the computer stand, like it's always been. So I apologize for making everyone wait an extra 5 minutes. It was in some kind of thing that was on a stand behind the setup, but I didn't see it because someone had put a bunch of boxes on top of it, so I couldn't see it past the boxes. I apologize for stream starting so late, and by that I mean like at 10:30 at night. I was hanging out with some friends online that I have not hung out with in a little while. Had to freaking arrange one of those adult play dates, as you will. It's just a shame when you got friends as adults and everyone's too busy to hang. Alright, so that's done. Maybe plug in the headphones and we can get going here. Maybe I should have just let the thing play, but how else am I supposed to entertain chat if I'm not talking? You can only stand hearing that Harvest Moon song on loop so many times before you start to want to shoot yourself in the face. Do I have the right memory card? I need to double check. I think I do. Everything seems to be working. So let me get rid of the Be Right Back. That's the wrong one. Where's the game? For this whole time I thought the... Where's it? Alright, Elgato. There we go. We're all good now. I forgot I had turned off Elgato for the story stream the other day. It achieves mundane... Yeah, that's true. That's true. Your wonderful harming life starts now. I played this as a kid, and while I've technically never finished this game, I have finished the girl version, which is just like a quicker version with a quote-unquote post-game, so... We stream one of the best games in the galaxy. Van is kind of terrifying. I'm not gonna lie, he is kind of spooky. So we gotta go to the Rim S Diary. And not accidentally pick the wrong one. So how's everyone doing tonight? I had to do freaking taxes today and pay an extra $100 to get them done because of nonsense. So the perfect way to de-stress after that is with some waifu action. Excuse me. I haven't eaten all day. I've been busy knee-deep into taxes. What made me stream this beautiful game? Well, the last 2 weeks I've been streaming a lot of our unfinished Harvest Moon games. So I'm like, well, last week I said, why don't we go ahead and stream this game this week? And that was really it. I'm trying not to wait several months in between play sessions of this game. When comes across the valley, stomps in and yells across the valley. He just kind of walks down the street. Hey all! Van here! Says Ramirez, do I need a good reason to play this game? Because this game is... I still think it's one of the best Harvest Moon games that's ever been made. There is some bias in there, but... it captures what's doing very well. Van is a master of time manipulation. That is true. I truly hope that if they ever remake this game, they don't botch it. Because honestly, I mean, I'd be happy for people to be able to play it in modern day, because it's kind of difficult to do that with GameCube games if they were to remake it for like the Switch, like they did with Mineral Town. But if they did it just like Mineral Town, I'd probably be very upset. I'd want it to be 3D, and I'd want it to embrace the nature of its graphics. Where it's like has like these realistic, for its time, realistic graphics, but cartoony characters. What the? Oh god. Well, okay. I'm gonna have to clean that up. Give me just a second. That was terrifying. So those boxes I mentioned that were piled on top of the game, yeah, they all just fell down. All of them. Every single box is everywhere. Move, archery, thing. That's what the rest of my team is doing. How did this even stay balanced in the first place? So now we got box stacking stream. Let's go. He's got oh no. I've got Harvest Moon ghosts. Ugh! Stop falling. This is why I hate moving. I hate boxes. And there goes my Facebook Messenger sound. Please ignore that. I'm gonna have to mute that tab. Get back to the computer message. Oh my god, all the sounds are going off. This is a disastrous way to start a stream. There's no consistency on this channel. It's either internet, it's just chaos. It's chaos all the time. If one thing's not happening, it's another. Welcome to the chaos that is these streams on the regular. Today's problem, boxes. Next time, who knows? I don't. I almost got them all picked up, but then we can resume. There we go. Sorry about that. Strange time for chaos. Yeah, I've been streaming / let's playing this game for almost as long as the channel's been running videos, so it's a long time. I hope nothing fragile broke. I think it's just like a box falling into a glass bottle in the trash can. Also, it's this game that kind of made me idolize farmer life. Not that I ever did it, but I wanted to. Oh, right. I don't know, it's just whenever I'm having a rough time in life or just a stressful day or something like this, back in the day when I used to record these episodes, it's exactly what kind of I needed to disconnect from reality. It's very... once you've done everything, it's like... it becomes like a slog. But, I used to. I haven't gardened in several years, and that's mostly because wherever I've moved, I have never been able to properly, have a place to garden. Or I'm not settled in there long enough to settle in, if that makes sense. I tried to garden one year. It was like I went through all the trouble of mowing down this field, getting it all prepped and ready, and then as soon as I start trying... I even tried to get a tiller, and I couldn't get it over there because it was broken. So when I finally started doing it by hand, the very first time I hit the ground with the hoe, freaking ground hornets flew up and tried to kill me. So I'm like, I didn't end up gardening that year. I just planted seeds from flower seeds from scratch. I might be able to find the picture somewhere. I grew morning glories. So I've grown morning glories. At least that. One day I would like to be able to. By the way, hello Ice. I was in the middle of story, so I just... The Hornets were trying to steal Yo-Ho. Luckily I didn't get stung, but I was afraid. I was terrified. I was worried just... Wait, where's my freaking... Where... I must not have it. Okay, whatever mind. I guess I'm not using the wooden watering can. When we move to our new place in Pennsylvania, I'm hoping to have the place to set up a small, like, garden farm one of these days. I want to do Harvest Moon in real life, man. Are you the cow I milk? I guess so. His name is the Xenoblade 2 reference. Oh, classic Isolate. Okay, I guess that was just the one. I needs food. My character is sad. Yeah, reading the Death Road story out loud was probably one of the most nerve-wracking things I had did for the first half. Is why it took me so long to finish it. Where's my freaking seafood? Oh my god, that's such bad luck. There we go. Back to neutral expression. Okay, so the cow... Okay, nope. Oh god, selling the hoe is so bad. Oh, Alright, I need some fodder for him. Take some fish. That is a rough life. Luckily, as long as you're making bank, your wife won't divorce you. Or husband, depending on what game version you're playing. Sorry. But yeah, that's rough. Man, I want to watch the new Sonic movie, but I still haven't even seen Morbius. I'm behind. Yo, the wife was out. Man, the camera is like rapid. So much colder last spring. Before your life leaving. She approached me that time. I like it when randomly the characters will actually come up and talk to you instead. Lilies, marigolds, and a few. Man, fresh lilies smell so beautiful. Like ooh, like when I go to the grocery store and they have like the Easter lilies in and stuff. Man, that smell is just so good for those few days. It makes working actually a treat. Celia, where are you? I can't see you. I can't seal you. If I made puns like that to my wife, I'd probably end up divorced. If I had a wife. We can get a hippie. You're gonna watch it dubbed? Oh no. The power of genetics. transform my entire character trait into my child.
Yeah.
Hey, Gustafa. I go play Spanish Sonic is real. Hello, Cody. I see you walking around. Have some sashimi. You look hungry. I already. You cooked that? It looks real good. Can I have it? Yes. That's great. I miss how he says arigato in freaking the girl version. Spanish Sonic Rio. Yeah, I'm glad everyone ended up enjoying the story. It's like the game is even more beautiful when it doesn't have music. You know, that's actually a very good point. This game has a great ambiance sounds that not a lot of other Harvest Moon games do. It's like, I hate to sound like a freaking simp for this game, but this game just does a lot of things right that other Harvest Moons don't do. A wonderful life simulator. I wish I had a life this nice. Water crop, milk cow, happy wife, happy child, fish. Wish I had the time in real life to go fish. Subtle soundtrack is yes, definitely. Like the music only plays in areas where they expect you to spend a ton of time, and even then you can turn it off for the farm anyway. Oh, futuristic Harvest Moon. How I miss the Tatobot. I'm gonna go back for Vita one day. I promise. What did I catch? What the heck is an Urna? I've never caught this before. I would have recognized the name. Very rare. Spring or pond. I've been fishing in this game for literal years, and I've never caught this. That's crazy. Never in my life have I ever caught that fish before. Very rare indeed. Oh, Zombieland. Yeah, the Death Road movie. Well, you have now. But, excuse me. Yeah, I'm glad everyone ended up enjoying the Death Road story, just because it's like, it would have been heartbreaking to have put so much time into it, just for everyone to have been like, eh. It's like, as I read it, yeah, it does that weird thing. The FPS does that weird thing when you can't angle. It just stutters around. But I think that's intentional, sort of, maybe. But, like, as I read it, I kept thinking, like, man, I wish I had changed this. Or, man, I wish I had changed this. Or, man, I wish I hadn't done this. Because, like certain jokes or entire things missed their mark or would have been better without them. And it's like, I'm like, yeah, but I didn't make it to be super, like... Maybe I have caught this, because that's the second one I've caught, unless it's just like some lucky day for them. It's rotating 2D images. Yeah, you know, you actually make a fantastic point. The graphic style does have its charm. That's like the thing about it. It's like, it uses its limitations super well. Oh my god, goodness. I want to go back to freaking Innocent Life. I just haven't had time. But then I also haven't gone back to any Harvest Moon games except for the last few weeks, since November with Harvest Moon month. Usually Harvest Moon month burns me out so much on Harvest Moon, I don't pick it up again for a couple of months. That, and I'm busy playing a bunch of other things too. That's why these last few weeks I've been doing a lot of Harvest Moon stuff, because it's like my stream schedule has finally cleared up enough where I want to do some more. That's fair enough, Ramirez. It was just so much... It was kind of more so referencing the fact that, Ramirez, that, like, there was a lot of jokes in the stream that was based off of, that you had potentially some villainous vibes and would battle with Doki, so I'm like, that was kind of where the idea of making Ramirez the villains came from. And the sort of creator of Zombie Randy. Like, I enjoy Innocent Life of what I had played of it, but at the same time, there was a lot of stuff that I just wasn't really... I felt like a lot of repetition and a lot of empty time with nothing to do in it. That might have just been because I was at the beginning of the game, but I just, you know... Have a good night, Sora. Sorry if I started so late. I wish I started sooner. He just won an Oscar for his best supporting actors. You don't babysit in your sleep. I swear, the Dead Rising joke in that story did not age well, because, man, that would have been a lot funnier if I had actually put the story out, like, a few weeks after the streams had happened, because then it would have been topical. Over time, it was just kind of dated. I just didn't know how to establish an origin for Zombie Apocalypse and make Ramirez have a grudge for it. Bang, best actors, you name it, they want it. Oh no, what? You have to do the tutorial again? That tutorial was buns. I definitely want to give it another try again soon, though. Like, I'll eventually go back to playing it. It's not as high on the continuation of series for Harvest Moons right now. But I probably still will go back to it soon. Heck, maybe I'll play it for Wednesday next week. I'm not sure yet. I love the fact that the only reason the Doki versus Ramirez scene even existed in that story was just because of a wisecrack that Isolate had made in the stream. Or me, well, a combination of Isolate and I think me, making a joke about what if the board said Ramirez was the traitor, type of thing. And Tyler's wasted sleeping. So I'm glad that the scene existed. I'm leaving. There's no fish. And the fish are boring. That's the thing. I figured there was more places to explore in Innocent Life, but I just couldn't find anything to do. It's like it's the first few weeks, so I felt super stumped in it. You guys did good. Seeing art for it was like a highlight of my day when I saw it, Ramirez. It was so good. Wait, what? Oh my god. That's nuts. I mean, I guess one could say this Harvest Moon is boring, but I don't see it. All I remember of the game was the Among Us. Ding, ding, doo, 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 doo. Fail to become fully human with human stats. You fail? Oh my god! Rumtato Bot wants to become a real boy. I will come back one day for you, PlayStation Vita. I'll come back, and I will make you love me, Vita. Love is the hardest one. It's because Vita freaking ignores my advances. I'm just disappointed I never got fan art of Rumtato Bot falling in love with the PlayStation Vita. No, I didn't want to water that spot again. I see that little bug over there. God, why is freaking watering stuff so annoying? But yeah, some people might think this game is boring, and in a way it is, because it's not, like, actively doing something, but there's something to say about a game that just lets you vibe out and just kind of enjoy the trip. It's like, yeah, not a lot is happening, but it's not important that not a lot is happening. That's the whole point. It's a detoxer for your busy freaking life schedule. Helps you feel relaxed and unwind. Literally everyone every day. Man, I hate talking to people. I'd be a terrible human robot. So, I mean, that's why I like this game so much. Out of all the Harvest Moon games I've played, this is the one that I enjoy the vibe out on the most. Because it's like, yeah, it feels kind of routine, but like there's something about it that's just very homey. I don't know exactly what it is about it, but it hits that for me like so well. Holographic crops. Winter week. Oh, Innocent Life is a game I definitely feel like there's more under the hood than what I'm seeing. I just haven't had the time to play more of it. People recommended me to do Let's Plays of that ages ago. I'm kind of glad I didn't Let's Play it because, man, I wouldn't have really known what to do for a Let's Play of that. There's so much less going on in that game half the time than there is in this one. Figure out the mini puzzles. I mean, that's probably true. I just get stuck in ruts with the Harvest Moon games usually, so it's like they have to do something to shake it up. But like nowadays they just get gimmicky, and I'm not a big fan of gimmicky Harvest Moon games. To give you time, it's empty. What a shame. Oops, didn't do that. Never really thought of Innocent Life being a game about saving the world with farming. Don't sit on that, I need to get it. Move. The atmosphere is cold. Yeah, it kind of is. My brother's just started doing like, but not Harvest Moon. I can understand it. There's something about Stardew Valley that seems simpler in a way, and like it's got more to do, so it feels less repetitive. So I can understand it. But my sister's like the opposite. She likes Harvest Moon games, but she's not a big fan of the idea of Stardew Valley. But I think it's because she's a Harvest Moon purist. She can't. I don't think she likes the idea of another company doing Harvest Moon better than Harvest Moon. I didn't even see my son yesterday. I'm such a bad dad. Sorry, it's just been one of those days, son. I had taxes. This one has the most cold and unfeeling Harvest Moon games. A lot of people I hear that actually talk about Innocent Life, they actually really sing its praises. So it's like I feel like there's something about that game I'm missing. You really made this well. Keep trying to get better. Always, babe. Is my son awake? Son! Wake up, son. Your bear's creepy. It's breathing. There's something about Stardew that it's so simple and addictive, and it's not as grindy as Harvest Moon games are. And lately, what Harvest Moon is... Because Harvest Moon's tried to imitate Stardew lately by doing such a good job, but, like, they don't do it well. That could be it, Kadisar. It makes sense to me. All I know is I will be back for you, Vita, one of these days. The love story of Rimtatobot and the PlayStation Vita can never be topped. Except by maybe the love story of Doki and Ramirez. I saw a mermaid and then she told me a riddle and I got confused. I don't know what's more confusing, a mermaid or a mermaid that tells riddles. But yeah, like, to jump back for, like, Death Road story for a little bit. Much, just... The Death Road story did mostly start off as just a big joke adventure, and I just wanted to have fun writing it, and doing little funny scenes, so the ending falling apart to a really weird bunch of things happening, to me, wasn't really a massive takeaway. I felt like the actual plot and emotions between the characters I put in was what felt really weird, because it's like, it felt out of place, considering the rest of the story was so goofy. It's like... But maybe it's because I didn't know how to write Aqua in a goofy scenario, for example. But it's like, I also didn't really know how to portray certain characters. Like, I didn't know how to do them just from their Miitopia counterparts. I didn't know which characters to know which, so I was really inconsistent with that. But I was just so confused with it. Yeah, I'm not the hugest fan of Stardew's art style, but I do like it. Like, the portraits, I feel like some of the characters, I think they could be more appealing, but it's the art style they're going for. Besides, that's what mods are for. You can do anything with mods. I love the fact that Stardew can be modded. It's a really cool idea. Oh, that tree is fully grown. But an art style that I'm not but that's mostly for the portraits. The gameplay-wise, I like that kind of 8-bitty style that feels like a modern game and it functions well. But I was glad that with the Death Road story, I was able to, easy modding is a selling point. Yes, that's true. Need to get fodder again. That's fair, I understand that. The portraits kind of took a while to grow on me, too. It made me have a hard time to pick a character I liked, because none of them were super visually appealing. But the more I played that game, the more I started getting attached to all of them, really. I haven't never played NES Harvest Moon. Is that on Nintendo Switch Online? I don't remember, actually. But, I just had fun trying to squeeze in some actual character arcs and emotion into the characters for the Death Road story, because anyone who hadn't read my stuff, I just wanted to see if I could write some scenes that would resonate with people, that would actually feel like they stuck out, and going for things like plot twist, but good plot twists. Hello, son. Are you dead? Morning, Dad. Morning, son. Serious fun, more like serious boredom. Dad, is farm work fun? It's fun. I knew it. I want to be a farmer too, Dad. Bye, son. Like... Okay, Dad! I gotta talk to my plant. I haven't talked to him enough lately. I don't want to get sad. I wish I could remember all their voices. Morning. I'm starving. Got anything to eat? Not right now. Sorry, bro. There's no other choice now. By the way, do you need something good? Just ask. I just want to talk. Ah, so you want to talk with me? I'm so happy. Hey, my day. Normal plants like to have more sun, right? I don't get that much hair, but I guess as long as I grow up healthy and strong, I can't really complain, you know? This is like the single weirdest thing in this game, and I feel like no one ever talks about Tartan. Now and then, though, I'd like to see the sun. And that's it for today. See you later! Bye, Tartan. He's starving and he lives in your property. Oh, here's the man himself. Piranha plant. Hello, my friend. Good morning. It's hard to forget Valley, but that's the life of a traveling salesman. Bro, you're here multiple times a week. Or a month or whatever. Morning. This thing makes me feel good. I'd love to have a nice huge party. What? I got turned around. It's the best time of year for drinking, eating, and of course, wonton cruising. What? What now? Hello, Katie. Morning. Where are you going? Isn't there anything to do here? Why does she have red eyes? Where's Murray? I haven't seen Murray yet. This session? I have to find my boy Murray. Now, see, I was gonna try and gauge the reception of the Harvest Moon. Sorry, not the Harvest Moon. The Harvest Moon story, the Death Road story, as an idea to whether or not I should do a similar thing for my original works, because like I've made a lot of them, and I know honestly, people reading them on their own would probably be faster than me reading them to them, but like, I thought of whether or not that would be a fun idea to do that with my original stuff, but then it's also like, I feel like I'm even more afraid of being judged on the spot for that. Granted, if I did that, it'd probably be more like I'd make a audio thing of it and speak, but not like a live stream of it. Crafts a happy ring. I don't remember what that does. In fact, that little girl can your wife might not like you going to the bar all night or something. Katie's too woke for her child her age, I swear. Ain't no one here. This game, specifically this room, reminds me I've never actually touched the DS game for streaming and video purposes. Hey, how are things? Cows don't give much milk all the time, you know. For instance, not when they're sick or right before they give birth. They're also stop giving milk about 4 days after giving birth. You have to consider this when deciding when to breed them. Increased drops. Oh, yeah, I didn't see that. Little Marlin! My mortal enemy. Yo, don't you think this is a nice season? It's getting warm so quickly. I'll slap you upside the face, Marlin. I haven't forgotten your transgressions. Hello, honey. How are you doing? It was so much colder last spring. What is with your shoes? I got an orange spot on them, man. She's got a worker's shoes. As ugly as my shoes. Don't tell her I said that, though. I went the wrong way. Oh, I like Takakara. Yeah, he's cool. But yeah, I thought of doing, like, audio things for my story, and I thought, but then it's like, I don't, oh, hello. I just don't, I don't know. It's like, if people wanted them, I could probably make them, but at the same time, I don't know if I'd rather them just read them or what. It's what's very confusing to me. Like, the Death Road story was different, like, because having a live interaction of that is a lot of fun, because of why I made it, but the other one, like, my actual story, I don't know if I don't know. It's really confusing how I feel about it. I feel conflicted about it. Because I want people to experience it, but I also don't want people to feel obligated to. Carter, don't start twerking at me. He's in freaking twerking position, and I don't like it. Across the world again. Yo, the sugar whore. I don't know. I'm not so sure yet. Like right now, I started today after I was done with my taxes. Carter is scary, honestly. He did Praise the Sun before Praise the Sun was even a thing in Dark Souls. Because I remember Dark Souls what made that joke famous, but Carter did it long before. He's literally doing it for the sun, to get the sun's rays. Backing it up. But I started working on the Aqua story today after finally finishing my taxes for what felt like forever. Adding new and more confusing ways to make me feel miserable every year. Taxes. But, I could probably see myself reading that one, and that one makes more sense to read aloud to people as an open audience, mostly because, it's designed to be an informative piece, so that way, if there are things going on that don't make sense, I'm literally right there to explain it to people who might be overwhelmed by it. I'm also trying to find a way to reduce the amount of canon that world has to make it easier for people to read, and just reintroduce it as necessary. In-game, they did for in-game horse riding first? Huh. I guess that makes sense, though I think about it. So I don't know. I'm trying to be more casual with how the Aqua-based story goes, rather than just being some narrator narrating her story. I'm like, that feels boring and impersonal. I want the reader to connect with the character. So therefore, how I'm doing it, I guess is a minor spoiler or / sneak peek, whatever you like to consider it. I'm writing it in the format of, like, she's in an interview and she's being asked to talk about herself, so she's talking about her own past and story through her own perspective. So it's not officially written, but it's like you're getting her actual thoughts on her events and how she feels about it as she says it, so which I feel like gives more insight to her personality rather than just straight the facts. Right there to explain the confusing parts. That's part of what I feel like too. That's why I'm trying to get feedback on it, to try and figure out if things are too complicated or whatnot. That's why I'm trying to dumb down the canon in a sense, where it's like I wrote the story initially for people that already knew the canons, like my friends, and they never even read it, the whole thing. Like my friend, one of them read a couple chapters, but I am writing. It's kind of like, right now it's just casual writing, but I would like to, at some point in my life, go somewhere bigger with it. I have my writing stuff posted in the Discord, so that's always there for people. So, but I don't know. I've just been in a big mood with that stuff recently, and I've been trying to scratch that creative itch. Once I finish the Aqua-based story, I'm probably going to go back to rewriting the old chapters I had started rewriting, and then probably, from there, go back to creating new chapters, because I'm figured to let some time sink in, decide if I want to go a certain direction with a certain plot point, which I'm pretty sold on if that's what I'm going to do, but I don't know. I have all this creative energy lately, and I need to burn it somehow. It'd just be cool to one day be able to put out a piece of something out there that, you know, it does something in the world. I don't necessarily say, oh, I want to be a famous author or something. That's not necessarily why I'm doing it. It's more so like, if one day I'd like to be able to have a story like that fully fleshed out, and just to have someone interested in it and invested. Like I want, like, wanting it to matter to someone else is why I'm more excited into trying to do something with it, rather than trying to create like the next big media thing or anything, because I'm never thinking of it like that. I ain't thinking like I'm Stan Lee about to create Spider-Man and my editors are telling me no, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna do it anyway type of thing. The birth of the Vigilance. I still need to read more of your stories, Ramirez. I promise to once I chill out on my writing some, I'm going to try and catch up on some more of them. It's like I'm such a hypocrite. I expect people to read my stuff, but I don't have the time to read anyone else's. I haven't even read Penguin Point yet. I haven't read the next chapter of Penguin Point yet by our friend Isolate. All I know is that it takes place at Kaiser's, because I had to check for him. I think Ramirez posted them in story chat, but like, as documents rather than links. At least I think he did. Excuse me. Nearly died. I need to really make myself something. Problem is I have to remember all the recipes off the top of my head, and I'm just not good at that. That's true. Ramirez's story should be pinned. But I don't remember which people have the power to pin. I forget people can't just pin their stuff. Yeah, just search bar there and just be like search bar the files, I guess. But see, Ramirez not only writes his stuff, but he also has like the visual comics to go with it. Oh, you did? It didn't give me a notification for it, but thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I don't stream Harvest Moon all the time, but I want to get back into streaming it regularly. Oh, hello. You know, make me feel so free. It's free trying recipes. Well, in this game, it's kind of difficult. You only have a couple of things to work with. Why did I come in here? You don't have a... Oh, I don't want to talk to you. One of the only people in the Harvest Moon world I just don't want to talk to. My eternal rival, Marlon. He's just such a jerk. Like, really. Especially when you're dating Celia. He's such a jerk, but then here's the thing. He gets all bent out of shape because you're trying to date Celia. But in the end, he's letting Vesta marry her off to some dude. It's Murray! How are you doing, boy? Moink. It's got moon. Taro and Hanako seem very happy. Do you know them? They're the ones always spinning around in circles. I thought that was a bug. Like a graphic bug. Adult Godfather content. One day I will eventually touch on Harvest Moon DS, because I actually do like it. It's just super grindy. Like, it's like... It's got... its little freaking plot, I always found it kind of exhausting. Like, you have to save the Harvest Goddess by recovering the Harvest Sprites, but the Harvest Sprites are just recovered by doing random bullcrap all the time. It's nuts. I know DS is a sequel. I kind of look at DS more of like a parallel telling of this game, like a parallel universe, because it's a sequel, but like it doesn't take place after the game or alongside it. It's like a new interpretation. No, not this. Well, no, not this game. Harvest Moon DS is the plot I'm talking about. This game's quote-unquote plot is living your life and seeing what happens to your family as you grow older. It's more of a self-understanding plot. Spiritual work. Whoa, wait. Summon the ghosties? Yo, I think Sora would freak out. Sora was haunted by ghosts for quite some time. The Harvest King mod? What? think it's kind of interesting that I chose today to start working on the Aqua story, because I had said last week, because I was talking about OCs or something. I was talking about Aqua's like story, or her character, as for like during last week's stream, and I said something about like talking more about it this week, because I had been talking about them a lot recently. I do that in Harvest Moon streams because there's really, you need something to fill the void of things not happening. Zero money from the work of life. Just reminds me of Maya Fey. Very passionate about her job, but it literally does nothing. Okay. The actual canon name from the Marvelous Mark is named Mark. What? Oh, you mean our character here? Is that what you mean? The weird thing is, I kind of have a weird time kind of just starting into like OC talk. Like the thing is, like I love talking about my characters and my story, but it's like I hate feeling like I'm doing it like kind of randomly, unprovoked or whatnot. But I guess it's just because I'm something really passionate about, and I just want people to take it and enjoy it as well. It's not very easy to do. This character. Okay, I never knew his name was Mark. I didn't know he had a canon name. I got a new crop. What was it? That's apples. Opafu? Is that it? Ofu? It's probably Ofu. Or is it an apple? Ofu tree. Ohamba. So I guess I'll be writing the story and doing it from a different perspective later, but I guess I could talk a little bit about her until I can think of a different topic to talk about. So I had said a little bit before, I think it was last week, about the type of world that the story is built in, which is like a world that's similar to real life, but has all those elements of fantasy that just kind of like things like monsters and like all other kind of supernatural things. There you go. See, Ice, I gave you the spirit of the right. And it takes place in a world like that, and it revolves around characters that are they're called the world's 4. No, wait, 3. I don't know. Whichever one you want. Wrong cow. They're both brown. I got confused. Sorry, that's racist. Wait, oh, is they out of milk? They out some milk! Is this, oh, it's asleep. I can't milk it, it's asleep. And like the world, so the world revolves around, well, the story revolves around characters. Got milk? No. Good, my son's in bed. Now I need to go to bed. But the story revolves around characters that are, in the original canon, are known as the World Savers. Very original name, I know, but you know. It wasn't the story. We referred to them as that mostly because. Oh, good night, Kaz. It was nice meeting you as well. Thanks for the follow. Hopefully, I'll see you around next time. You recently sent to the room. To be fair, Ramirez, if you put a disclaimer on things like on your stories, I feel like you should be able to share anything. And if you feel if people feel like they don't feel like they can read it. Then they just shouldn't. But I feel like it's at least fair to put it out there for everyone, you know. And I'm not saying you should if you don't feel it's right. Well, the baby is grown, so you won't need the calf hatch anymore. So we'll just put it back in the tool shed and take the calf to the barn. We'll clean it up for you. I'll clean that up. True. I feel like as you have disclaimers, you know, reader beware, because, you know, because you're embarrassed. I mean, that's a fair point. Fair point, fair point. So which of these cows is got the milk? Yes, all of my cows are female. I don't have any bulls. I don't have room for bulls. Ah, you still have milk. I thought the freaking black and white cow had milk, but maybe not. This is a no bull zone. Does that mean one other one needs to get priggers? I guess so. Yeah, I keep getting interrupted. Yeah, they only were called the World Savers because we needed to freaking name the group something. And it's like, they're not the type of people to name themselves like a superhero organization. And since they just saved the world, that's why they were referred to as people who didn't know them, so the name just kind of stuck. That was the thing. I don't have the goat. I don't have it. I didn't buy it chapter 1, and then I've never been able to get it again. I don't know why. So, man, it was a big shame, big L on my Let's Play thing. But, I feel like there's a certain charm to it. In some parts of the canon, I referred to them as the World Saver Organization, so it was like, it's like an official thing in some things. And the story I'm writing, they're like pseudo-official, whereas special branches of the government recognize them for what they do, despite the fact that they're essentially still vigilantes, but they mostly don't get involved with, like, petty crimes and stuff like your superheroes would. They're restricted to super threats, which the public really wouldn't be able to handle anyway. But, that's why when they start meddling in affairs that the police would consider theirs, they get labeled as vigilantes. Which is kind of what they're looked at as in my story personally. It's like they may be members of a non-official organization that helps save the world, but you're out here trying to stop freaking crime and save lives? That's the police's job. You get out of here. And then they become public enemy number 1 type of thing. You know, kind of like Spider-Man in a way. Only with some more logic to it other than just suddenly people hate Spider-Man but not, like, Iron Man or whatever type of thing. You know, I never understood that. Why is Spider-Man only marked as a vigilante? Same like with Batman. Why is Batman the vigilante type of thing? What if all our COC teams were to fight each other? You battle to the death. Well, I mean, depending on the if it's a lethality contest, I feel like, I hate to sound like a toot my own horn, but in the right situation, Aqua can beat most other characters. Now, in the canon that she is for the story, but at least at the point of the story, Aqua can't do that, but like I showed in the Death Road story, Aqua has the capacity to basically bloodbend. Now, hers is different, where it's like, she can control blood or any type of liquid that she can connect with her own water to, but when it comes to other people's blood, she has to get her own power essence inside of someone. Let's say she needs to cut someone with a blade of water or an icicle or something that she's created and get her own energy inside. She can't just pull blood out of people like freaking bloodbenders do in Avatar. There's like, you know, there's a list of checks and balances in there. Mostly because, since it's not just a writing element, it's all about being fair to the other people who you were playing with, rather than just writing something OP. So, in the right situation, Aqua can just literally rip someone's blood out. Pretty much. She can cause it to boil, to freeze over. It's pretty dark. There's only really been 1 or 2 times I've ever written Aqua ever doing it, but she has the potential to do it. Aqua is a character of mine that has a lot of mass potential, but in the story, based on both her character... Where's Aqua on the Battle Wiki tier list? But she has the potential for greatness, but she limits herself because she's not really a violent fighter. She's mostly non-lethal, so it's like the type of foes she'd ever be fighting against to use something like that are limited. She wouldn't use it on people that they're, you know, trying to not kill. Could you please, Jeffrey? Pushing animals in this game sucks. Need to wash him, he's dirty. She kills blood. But yeah, Aqua can easily bend her own freaking body liquids like that, like her blood. It's pretty edgy in a way, but like, you know, not a habit of something she often does. Aqua's very much most of the time a very gentle type of person, so she's not one for thriving on combat. At least not base story Aqua. There's like the weird thing is, even in our own canon, there's at least 2 different versions of Aqua. And one of them is because of life has just messed her up, she's become cold and calculating. So, in the story you read, she's very gentle, would never do something like that. In the main canon, she's super hyper-aggressive at the point of the story she's in. Low tier 8 to high tier 3. Wait. She has like a 5-6. Is that high or low? I don't know how that works in that range. But the thing is, you have to train to get to that point. Just because you have control over water doesn't mean you can just suddenly, oh, boom, I have that skill. Aqua's kind of what you would call a prodigy. Which I'll explain in that story when I get around to writing it. And then eventually when I actually write that in. But in the story that I've been writing that I'm trying to push people to read, she can't actually do that yet. She's not that powerful. Like, power scaling in the world we have goes like on a scale of 1 to 4 in terms of how potent your power is and your connection with it. And... oops, I didn't mean to eat that. Aqua in the story beginning, she's probably a 2, borderline 3. But in the point she's in the other story, which is confusing, she's definitely a 4. She's definitely high level at that point. Is there anyone here? Hello. Twerker Carter is here. But the oh, so the lower the number, the more potent then? Like on a scale of 1 to 6, 1 is like the most powerful or something? I don't know. I think I understand. I definitely wouldn't rank Aqua on the scale of someone that could destroy a planet. I feel like that's a bit much. She probably could destroy an island if she wanted to, depending on... especially considering the fact that if she just has enough control over water, she could just capsize an island. Because she just could flood it. Like I showed in the Death Road story, she just... the water wasn't so much powerful, it's just the fact that it was plentiful to beat Randy in that situation. Because even though Randy was more powerful than the water just would not stop. It just kept coming. A literal river is crashing into Randy. It's like, it's not gonna kill him, but it's gonna be hard just to shake off like it's nothing. So she's not Goku. No. Though I feel like she could beat Vegeta in a fight, maybe. But then again, Vegeta's he's a little whipped. Goku always pulls out some nonsense. But basically, Aqua does have limits. The thing is, I'm describing her as her at her maximum potential, whereas in her story, she hasn't really reached that yet. True. That's a very fair point. she'd kill herself in the process because she can't breathe in space. But, you know. But Aqua's abilities aren't strictly limited to water manipulation. She excuse me. Over time, she developed connections to other things like aura, which is kind of, and ki-based energies, which are both kind of warrior spirit type of powers. Like, ki is obviously like it is in Dragon Ball. Aura, in the canon that she's from, is not so much just, oh, it's like fighter spirit. It's kind of a very strange, like, pure kind of mythical type of power, where it's like it has a lot of strange effects rather than just being straight up physically powerful. It's like the magic of someone's own life essence in a way. It's kind of funky how it works. But because of Aqua's training with this certain character of mine, she has a lot of physical skill too. She's got like that kind of Goku thing where Goku can manipulate his ki to be from like super scrawny to like super jacked. Yeah, I think most people describe chi, ki, and aura in most fictions are kind of the same thing. The weird thing is though, in our kind of fiction, like aura and ki they're not synonymous with each other. Ki is more so energy based off of warrior spirit. Aura is based off of like more of your connection to your own life force, your own living kind of energy in a way. So they're similar but different in our canon. But I believe most works of fiction refer to those three things as the same thing. I just decided to make it different, I guess. I always was trying to find ways to flesh out Aqua and give her more abilities without making her overpowered. She's got like the potential, like with a ability to shift her energy so that she can shift it into different attributes. Like she's not at all times super fast, at all times super durable, at all times super strong, but she has the ability to channel her energy where she needs it with her own reaction times, which means she can keep up with characters that are super fast and then switch to hitting hard at the top drop of a hat. Hey, Gake, how's it going? They don't like to explain all the sources of their characters' powers. I have a full, fleshed out thing of what explains how Aqua's powers come to be. I just never got to put it in anything yet. I've been building up to it for quite a while. I just haven't gotten to fully actualize it yet because our friend group hasn't been doing things for years. So it's kind of been on a slowdown. That's what we were doing tonight. I was finally actually getting us to do something. I had to do all the work to get it pulled together for the most part, but stuff was finally moving. You're heading to bed? Oh, okay. I mean, it is quarter to midnight, isn't it? I think so too, because it's like because when you realize the kind of abilities they can put out there, it's like you know when someone isn't pulling something out of their behind, and when they're literally digging in their heels and pulling out, and just going all out. I feel like understanding a character's strengths is important, because it's like pulling that out of nowhere. It's like, oh, that's really cool, but it's like, but it doesn't make sense, and then you realize, oh, but it does, type of thing. Ruby moment. I feel like that's a show that just has a lot of bullcrap, random A-pull powers that just kind of happens. I've never really watched it, so I'm not judging it, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like the fights were just cool for the sake of it. And I don't think that... I watched, like, Death Battle's analysis on some of those characters, and I'm like, man, that sounds like bullcrap, man. It sounds like, let's just make cool-looking fights and bullcrap the powers, you know? That's what it felt like. So unexplained, exactly. Like, Aqua's... I think Aqua's form of hydrokinesis is pretty, strong compared to just water manipulation, because while she can manipulate forms of, like, water and ice and other forms of water, let's say if steam is present, she can technically manipulate that too, because it's a extension of water in some molecular form. But she can also just literally create it as she needs. That's kind of one of the things our world did. It wasn't so much that you were just manipulating the natural elements. You could also basically conjure them in a way like magic at will to use them. So you weren't ever strapped for having something. Why did it tell me my hard drive is running low? And then dude, all that research. I can't imagine why, if something is that difficult to understand, why it would be that fun. Let's see, my information on stuff like that goes about as far as how much Death Battle is willing to explain. That's how I knew much about Raiden before I even played Metal Gear. House of the Dead? Oh, I had heard about that, I think. Man, I need to get new styluses too, honestly. If I'm getting too tiring of talking on what the heck I'm doing, please say so. Don't let me ramble if I'm literally being boring. As schools think Wikipedia is. Oh, I figured. It's like how their excuse for Goku never being able to be a Superman is like, oh, Goku just can't ever surpass a limit that isn't there. I'm like, bro, I get the fact that Superman has no limits in canon, but what happens when you pit Superman against someone who literally can make him push his limits to that limit? Like, nothing is essentially limitless. And if he was, that just makes Superman a terrible character. I'm not one of those butthurt people that got salty over Goku losing. I didn't have that much of an investment in it. I found it funny. That's like, I gotta order more birdseed, actually. I just realized that was my I think I'm only down to one bag. Talk about Penguin City, the place where one of your OCs was born. I like the sound of that. Alright, where's the order? Takakura's face. I love it. Other birdseed. Let's get 10. I'm jacked in money. I don't know. I don't care. See, I don't know what I mean is referring to the Goku Superman comment or the me talking too much about stuff comment. I don't know which one that's referred to. I thought it was the Death Battle thing, but I might be wrong. I think elements of the PS2 version of this game are better. But I don't think in general it's a superior experience. Like, they made they did to compensate this game being slow, they made the character walk like he's on crack cocaine, but everything else in the world moves at a normal pace, so it feels really janky. I'm not a big fan of how it flows.
Yeah.
It has a lot of good quality of life elements of it. I'm just saying. I'm just adding to the conversation. Well, you know, right? Type explanations. Okay, as long as I'm not annoying people with what I'm talking about, I just wanted to make sure that's what you meant. I agree. It's like, I don't watch Death Battle as the be-all, end-all to things, because it's like, it's like when you put two different versions of something together that don't fit in their own canon, you can't just say, oh, well, you need to fight some kind of neutral ground. I'm like, bro, it wouldn't really work that way, because if a neutral ground will either buff or nerf one character in favor of another. It's like, I never was a big fan of how Death Battle did their things. That's why I fall out of them so quickly. I just mostly watch to learn about a character or judge them for doing a character wrong, and watch the fights, because the fights are cool. Like, one fight that really burned my freaking biscuits, or whatever you'll call, was the Dracula versus Ganondorf boss fight. They're trying to say that Dracula wins because one of his demonic powers is listed as holy magic, when it's literally a demonic power. It's just listed as holy in terms of game spec, so therefore, this demonic attack is actually a holy attack. Ganondorf loses type of situation, which I think is bullcrap. That's cherry picking, because making Ganondorf lose when he's a big character is a huge clickbait thing. That's what that was. What character? Maybe I've heard of the character. I've always thought it'd be fun to pit Aqua against different characters. It's like, I feel like it would be kind of weird for me to say that Aqua could beat such and such in a fight, because I literally control her cannon, but I've never been in a situation to add powers to Aqua just to make her overpowered. I just know what her potential is when it's fully realized, because I literally am the creator. He just loses the Master Sword. Well, yeah, the Master Sword and the Light Arrows are holy based weaponry, but you want to tell me Demonic Megiddo as a spell is a holy magics thing? That's just a thing. Oh. I will say, though, the problem with the world that me and my friends created, that Aqua is from, is massively suffered from a massive problem with power creep. Like, our world suffers from power creep massively. Like it may make Dragon Ball be like, what? Type of thing. But it just in the context of its world. And none of those characters are, like, on level of, say, a Planet Buster, but they've handled Planet Buster threats, so when you make new characters that don't have Planet Busting potential, it feels like it feels like, you know, not all threats are created equal. When in its essence, a bullet will put them down by whoever it is. Like, for example, it'd be hard to hit her with one, but if you shot Aqua in the head with a bullet, or in the heart, she'd probably die as like any other person would. She's not like a mutant like an X-Men or something. It's just, like, there's some weirdness. Actually, well, not the light arrow, the silver arrow. Yeah, that's cherry picking. The light arrow / the silver arrow killed original Ganon, because like when you hit him with the silver arrow, he actually explodes in guts and gore. So technically, there is one game that the light / silver arrows killed Ganon. And I'm pretty sure they killed him in Breath of the Wild, because the Master Sword was Bupkis. You had to use the light arrows to finish him. But then, even then, it was still Zelda nuking him with the Triforce of Wisdom, because don't explain to me how the Triforce of Wisdom gives you light goddess powers. That doesn't make any sense. Exactly. It's like, Valley all my life. You too, right? Well, we're not getting divorced. So I guess so. Zelda has a bro cannon. Yeah. Zelda's powers are completely inconsistent from her different releases. But then again, I think that stems more from the Triforce being inconsistent. Like, how come Link doesn't get any special god powers from having the Triforce of Courage? Like, Wisdom doesn't make any sense getting special magical powers, because Ganon, that you would think the Triforce of Power specifically would do that, but no. Calamity Ganon is not the real Ganon. Well, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, Aqua... Sometimes it's hard to talk about Aqua, mostly because she is literally separated into two canons. Like, I don't know if I explained this the last time I was talking about her, but I don't think I did. So I will probably explain it, and, I don't know, because different people were different for different stream. Like, our roleplay world is what we call it. Like, we just call it the World Savers world or whatever. I don't know. We don't actually have a world name for it. It's just our world, our canon, I suppose. because of me and my infinite wisdom from like almost 15 years ago, or something, decided to do a story based on the future of that roleplay of that world. The problem is when you have multiple cooks in the kitchen, those futures are not set in stone. Literally, like Shulk, we can change the future. That's what ended up happening. So I had my canon got ripped in half because in one canon, the future canon, I was implying that Aqua got married to a particular person, which was Rem, in that world in canon. But then other people had other things in mind, and Rem ended up being married to a completely different character in the story, mostly because you're playing with other people. It's more fun to be married to another player rather than to yourself, because it's more fun to interact with someone else rather than interacting with yourself, if that makes sense. Because then you're essentially writing a story rather than interacting with someone else. So there's two types of Aqua canon. There's the main Aqua canon where she's not, where it's not based off that future where she's married, and then there's the uncanon future where she is. It's very confusing. Most of the time when I refer to Aqua and show off her character is based off of the I guess the happier canon of her, whereas the more aggressive combat side of her is based off of the more depressing story of Aqua, the main canon. It's very... I swear when I write the story, it will be more clear. I'm just not sure how to explain it when my mouth is running a mile a minute. Writing Telltale games be like... Oh, Lily Hangs are happy when it gets warm. Same here. Would you like some food, darling? But the thing is, both of those facets of her character is still her. It's not like some other reality version of her. It's just her, but different things happened in her life, so she reacts to them differently. In one continuity, she doesn't have a support system to help her through tough times, and she has to literally toughen up Buttercup type of situation, and literally has to and she ends up becoming stronger and able to take care of herself at the cost of her becoming way less innocent and way more hardened by like battle and stuff. Whereas the other canon, she has a support system and enables her to be able to still be weak and helpless in certain situations, but still loved and cared for. So it's like she's capable of all those things, both character-wise and combat-wise, despite the fact that she's technically two characters. I knew. If you dare to appear in a flash of light, your Phantom Ganon got it. Well, I mean, when you destroy something that's made out of energy, it's not gonna have a physical form to die. Murray is a nice person. Yes, he is. I swear, I promise, when I actually write that, as I write that story, I will make it very clear where her character goes, because, man, I feel like I'm just doing a terrible disservice to my own character. What the frick is he talking about? I had talked before about the reason why I got so connected to her, because she had such a rough spot in her story that was mimicking something that happened in my own life, so I have such a strong connection to her as a kid, as opposed to not like, oh, wow, you fell in love with your own character. Like, it's not quite so much like that you designed a character that you were in love with, because like I said ages ago, like in a different stream, that she started off as a background character that ended up becoming a full fleshed out character. Definitely wasn't designed, oh, I'm going to design a waifu character for myself. That's definitely wasn't how it started. Not at all. Especially considering the fact that when I created her character was only 9 years old. So it definitely would have been the type of character you'd want to quote-unquote sexualize. I don't condone sexualizing of 9-year-olds. Not to say if she wasn't real, I wouldn't want to date her, but I also feel like if she was real, she wouldn't want to date me. But no, it's like that. It's like that's why I get so like excited about talking about Aqua specifically, because it's almost like talking about a part of yourself, or like maybe like a kid, like a child of yours or something. The internet doing things. Just forget that I thought the internet doing things to them. You painfully did an OC4. I mean, I've done it too. The funny thing is just Aqua was not one of those characters I did it for. That's the funny thing about it. Despite the fact that, like, the jokes about me shipping myself with Aqua is, like, all over the place. But, like, her action... And I do that because it's, you know, it's funny. It's cute. And it's, like, she's a lot of my favorite anime stereotypes in terms of appearances. Except the fact that I didn't feel the need to give her ridiculous bazongas because there's no purpose for that. I didn't design her like that to be... I didn't design her to be sexualized and have no personality. Not saying that they don't go hand in hand. I mean, look at Pyra and Mithra, for example. But, like... I've done that as well. Ice. If anything, technically, Aqua was designed to be like a playmate character for another character that someone else had at the time that was also around her age, like around 9 or 10. Not to be shipped with specifically, but to have like a friend companion. Because in our group of characters, most of the characters were all mid to late teens, but there was only like 1 or 2 characters that were like less than the age of 10. Because people shouldn't entrust 9-year-olds with saving the world. That's why she was a background character for so long. She was a world-building character. Got a girlfriend life and I needed an excuse to change the lore. I didn't even see that, Ramirez. By the way, well, actually, never mind. I think I misread what you said. Never mind. I'm gonna hold my comment to myself. I think Shark. Is that all the fish I had? I think so. Earth don't like to have a word with me. Wait, what? What are you talking about? Oh, never mind. Yeah. In an RPG section where the game is literally funky, that's not a big deal, but like... I said after the stream with the rest. What even is an age? Technically, though, if you think about it, Aqua is still kind of, like, essentially a baby by her world standard. She's not, like, an infantile or anything, but, like, when characters can have several hundred-year lifespans because power literally prolongs their physical life, you know, compared to, say, a human character that has their standard lifespan. It's in the grand scheme of things. Like, when Aqua hits the age of 50 or 60, she's still gonna have the looks of someone in their mid to maybe late 20s, depending. Age fashion characters that are physically 10 in age, basically not at all. It doesn't make it... I mean, that's fair. Just because something is overdone doesn't mean it's not good. Just need something to talk about during all this fish cutting. I think I went on too long to talk about it. We went from having 8 to 7 people now down to 3. I've scared everyone away. Look, if anyone's still here expecting me to talk about the game for 2 to 3 hours, I'll be honest with you, there's not much to talk about here. Especially not when I'm doing this riveting fish cutting gameplay. I don't know who is coming and going. I apologize. I don't mean to call anyone out. I'll only make one more fish. I need to save the rest of those fish for gifts. I think I do anyway. I don't know. That's what happens when I have a mindset and I don't play every once in a while. I don't know. I just enjoy talking about that kind of stuff because it's like basically about it's basically like geeking out about something that you never get a chance to geek out about. So it's like when it starts happening, it feels like on an overload. I don't get to talk about my characters to anybody. Does Utero only count active chatters? I don't think it does, because when we had 8 viewers, quote unquote, a little bit ago, it there definitely wasn't 8 of you chatting. Which cow is this one? Yeah, I don't know how that works. I don't know. Whoever is here, I still appreciate you being here. I think the analytics are just bugged, but, you know, that's not what's important. Oh my god, I can't get this cow to turn around. I can't lock on to the cow and keep pushing. Twitch will never tell us the truth. No. Hopefully everyone finds the junk I'm talking about interesting, because I don't know. I'm very passionate about it, and one day I definitely want to share it around and be able to talk more about it. That's why I push my stories so much. It's like, I want people to understand and enjoy the same things I did. Especially when it's something that people don't really have access to. Like, my friend group is very close-knit, so it's like... opportunities to share that with anyone is very slim. Oh my god, the cow is broken. The best way to turn this cow is just to rotate the camera entirely. Like, I have other OCs I could talk about, but not nearly as in-depth as Aqua. And especially, I talk about Aqua mostly because she's the one everyone knows. Like, the character I have that's also named Rem, there's not as much to talk about with him other than just, like, the character's past and his abilities, but it's not as fun to talk about. Because I also hate using my name in the third person. Like, I really don't like it. I don't know if anyone else is like that. I can't stand it. Reading my own name is really weird for me. Or using my name to refer to something else that's not me. I always get really, like, thrown off and confused by that. Also, I don't really know what the point is of brushing them other than just simulation element. A lot of the things this game does is for the simulation element, and it's fun. Like, you can run out of energy, but you can't die or pass out. It just gives you low energy warnings. Stop. Wait, what? Oh, this cow has milk. I didn't even realize. I guess I've watched this cow already. Am I missing a cow? I'm missing the freaking Muzza cow. Wait, I'll show you here. Come on out, friends. Gotta take care of the baby cow until it's old enough to be sold. And that sounds cruel, but like, that's literally the gameplay element. What am I supposed to do? Where's the cow? Never know why the sheep are so freaking happy all the time. In the year 485th of the Athlon calendar. Wait, what? What? I should probably fill up these food bowls. I encourage OC chat, not just from me, but from other people too. That frauder looked good. Like, I have a genuine interest. I like learning about different types of characters like that. Like I was saying earlier, like with the death battle thing, that's one of my favorite things to kind of watch, like in death battles, is learning about the different characters that are in it. I enjoy that. I honestly don't know how I didn't manage to read Penguin Point yet. I know I plan to do it. I'm going to read it. I don't know. I might even read it after this as long as I don't get sidetracked. This is coming from the same person that literally has a hard time putting out a weekly schedule when I have no reason to not be able to do it. Oh, exactly. Like, it's one thing, for example, to portray Aqua as just a cute little waifu and everything, but at the same time, it's like it doesn't really do justice to her character as a whole. I wonder if Vestas Field has grasshoppers. I wonder if Kate's like older sister. What? Patrick's a woman? Apple! Oh, sorry, son. You grew that, Dad? I like to try growing things too. Well, we have a big old field. You can do something. All the things are happy when it gets warm. Why am I so hungry all the time? The only one who can make food is me. Can't order food anywhere. Wait, why is this sashimi in the slot of 2? I have more sashimi, right? I do. Wonder why that one went to a weird item slot. I think the idea of bloodbending in any kind of continuity... Why does your stomach purr? I don't know, man! Never understood it. It's like, doesn't sound like a stomach growling. While you time traveling to steal ideas. Ruby is your name, by the way. I was confused the other stream when I talked to her in the other game. I've time traveled to steal lots of ideas. One of my main villains is basically based off of the main villain of Persona 5 Royal. I don't know how I did it. Oh, stretching. Sorry. Oh, I've been in this chair all day for all kinds of reasons. Just talking about your show. The season makes me think of the nighttime when I came here with Nina. Remember the flowers were blooming prettily. I love the fact that Galen's character arc is like, he doesn't really change too much as time goes on, but like his wife passes away at the end of the first chapter, and it's like he spends the entire second chapter depressed and antisocial and won't talk to nobody. And by the time chapter 3 rolls around, he's finally made peace with it. I love that kind of subtle storytelling. By the way, hello, Draconantis? Is that how you say it? I'm just gonna say Draco. Welcome to the stream. You always fish, no matter what the season is. Then again, there's no comparison to growing bonsai. Dracula. This is just a vibe game. You caught Draconantis. That's a rough one. I think for now, unless I can think of something else relevant to talk about, I will probably chill the OC talk for a while because I'm going to scare everyone away. Unless I can't think of something else. I don't know. I hope that... I don't know how long. Like, normally when I write the stories, I can get an idea of how long something's going to be, but writing about Aqua's character is going to take some time that I want to do right, and I don't know how long it'll take, considering the style I've chosen to write in. This is definitely probably my favorite Harvest Moon game. You don't know what to talk about? I mean, the floor's open. Open mic. You may speak whichever you'd like. I enjoy. Were you talking about me or Ramirez? I don't have another answer for you. I was assuming Ramirez. I'm gonna assume Ramirez. That seems the more logical one. This is just one of those games where you can literally talk about anything, and it's just like it's just a vibe game, man. It's like I can just sit back and disconnect from the rest of reality. The only thing that matters is me and the sound of this babbling stream. I know your answer. If I was to think of other characters, I could think of other ones. I have a lot of different characters I could talk about. That's not just Aqua. The only problem is no one knows the rest of them yet. Though Ramirez knows a couple of them, but most of the ones that Ramirez knows from my story, they are not fully fleshed out characters yet. Most of my fully fleshed out ones haven't appeared in the story because I'm trying to flesh out new characters for the story building. Like a lot of the that was the direction I took. There's no way Aqua isn't your favorite. That's true. Aqua has a lot of personal attachment. Fox Girl, because she's Asian, she's the most energetic of the team. The Fox Girl story is one of the ones I did read, and I really enjoyed the story and the art that came with it. It was very good. I liked it. I know Wacky Ramirez isn't necessarily a OC. He's just your wacky comic counterpart, but I enjoy him. And FishTube. FishTube is really fun. I read the FishTube story. I read FishTube. I read the wacky Manhunt World, and I read Fox Girl. I think I might have read one other. Oh my God, my wife's in the background. She's just standing there, menacingly. She's coming closer. She heard me talking about some other woman. I'm in trouble. Oh, Katie. Don't snitch on me, Katie. Knowing Katie, she probably already did. The club penguin. The club penguin. Death approaches. But yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to try to do with my story the most, is have most of the starting cast be characters that were either new to the roleplay when I made them, or new in general, because I wanted to be able to have the reader be able to put themselves in the shoes or the viewpoint of the new characters, so while they're new to the world, so is the reader, so that they can associate with them more. But that just comes at the cross of them feeling unfinished from the get-go, as opposed to characters who have already had character arcs already. Let's Aqua, for example. Hello, Daryl. Does my shoulder smell nice? I saw you come over like, that smell. I smell it in your backpack. I like how I know these characters just from your art. I mean, hey, they're good characters, though. Ramirez has some good character designs. I have, like, freaking so many ones that are both background and non-background characters and, like, major characters. Like, I don't have a whole lot of major characters, but I have a decent amount of what I would consider major characters and a ton of minor/background characters. How many did I even make? I actually have the list up because I was needing it for some work purposes earlier today. And there's like, God, there's 88. I feel like that's not even all of them. That's just the ones I managed to categorize. It's a lot of, and those aren't the ones from my story. That's just in general that I've created. Some of them are counterparts of other characters and junk like that. Chanel wasn't your idea, it was my mom. That's actually really cool. That reminds me just of like when I played the very first Pokemon Mystery Dungeon on my DS, and I didn't know what to name my rescue team, so I remembered asking my dad, "Hey Dad, what sounds like a good name for a team?" And he told me Petra, that's where the Petra name comes from for all my farms and junk. It's like, I didn't know at the time it just meant stone. It was a biblical word for stone. Or it probably was Hebrew or something like that. I gotta go water the plants. So I like that. The emotion. All right, yup. Milk, please. What? Why don't you have milk? Why don't you fall down? Why don't you fall down? I thought it sounded cool. I don't have any characters that have a name that it wasn't just made up because it was cool. Actually, no, that's not true. So, like, the character Brett from my story, he's in the first chapter. He's not much of a spoiler for his name. He was named, his name is, and his first and last name is based off of, at the time, one of my best friend's names, who's also named Brett. And that's kind of where his name came from. It was meant to be, at the time, something that he as a person was interested in, and translated that into, like, the character a little bit. Sora and Kairi characters are literally just named after freaking Kingdom Hearts characters, but at the time I didn't quite know that, so I didn't realize. One of these days I'll have to rename them, but they're just based. My character Eric's name came from the fact that he was originally designed as a quote-unquote evil Link. Because his beta name, I guess you could call it, was E-Link. I was very unoriginal as a kid. The character was original in a way, but the name was not. So having to rename him was the thing. As a kid, too. Like, but then again, kids aren't original. That's the thing. What's important is taking that creativity and turning it into a new vessel. The character in the story of Ralph Falco, he, other than, the name obviously is from Falco, but I didn't name him that until, like, 7 years ago or whatever. So, the last name is relatively new, but I don't know, I just picked the name Ralph again because he thought it sounded cool, but he was, like, technically my first original character, and he was just one of those edgy, cool bounty hunter type of characters that used 2 guns and loved to blow things up. And I kept a good portion of that character into that, so that's why he exists. I mean, think about it. I literally named Aqua because I thought I was being so clever naming the water human after a different language word for water. I thought I was so cool, you know. Turns out I'm not. Aqua may sound cool. It's like, I guess it was more original as a kid than I had been used to, but oh, my character is sleepy. Look at that sleepy face of his. You'll see on pause. A lot of my characters' names were names that I just thought were cool from other medias. Like, there's a character named Kraven where he's not anything based off of the character his name is from. I just thought the name Kraven was cool from, like, Kraven the Hunter from Spider-Man. So that was the idea of just taking that name and just using it. That's why I do a lot of things. When I'm trying to think of new names for characters for my stories and stuff, if I'm just, like, hearing names and words from places, I write them down, and I'm like, I want to use this for later. I have a notebook somewhere that just has a bunch of different names, first and last names, to characters that don't belong to anyone yet, but I'm just keeping them in reserve to have cool names for characters. And then, of course, there are names that are completely made up and aren't even real words. Like one of my villains named Zalandor. That comes from nothing. Normal names. Change their names accordingly. I think sound nice. That's fair. That sounds sick, though. When I was trying to think of funny names, I really liked the letter Z and the letter R. Zalandor is one of my favorite villains that I have ever created, and I like to feel like the name was a part of that. He's not in the story yet, but he will be. I actually, if I haven't I'm gonna share it later. I know our son can work. They don't have to be based on anything if they're just based. I'll have to show you his art. That was one of the characters that my dad had drawn long ago, and one of the few ones I think he actually really nailed the design for. Like, I had a very loose idea of what he would look like, and my dad draws in the lost art of comic book style, where, like, the characters are usually super muscular, but they have that kind of comic look to them. My dad, like nowadays, like, anime is the art style of choice for a lot of things, like anime-ish style. My dad's, he still draws in comic style, which was the art style of his time. Not quite like Ramirez exactly, but similar. Like not like cartoon comic, but like superhero comic. Like Spider-Man or something, you know, those kind of toned muscles and stuff like that. And then there's another one of my villains that's just named Giga, which I had just used the name from a character from, actually it was a Bobobo villain, which is kind of funny, a character named Giga. But then the problem was, I didn't even make this correlation until someone pointed it out, and I feel like an idiot, that the character that was named Giga had a design look similar to Bowser. And I didn't even piece it together till someone pointed out and was like, yo, so he's named Giga after Giga Bowser? I'm like, what? And I literally facepalmed, because I'm like, and it was completely unintentional. It was like, what have I done? It was not even, it was from two different places, and they came together to reference something that already existed! Full of wackiness. Kind of cringe like that. That's the thing. If I'm in the right type of environment, I love sharing my stuff. I didn't share my stuff with some of my work friends until like a few years, like after a while of knowing them, and gauging whether or not they would find it interesting. Yo, that exists though. Well, that's the thing. People don't realize when their ideas are kept to themselves, they don't realize that those ideas or an interpretation of them have been done. Like a lot of my motivations for villains have already existed when I thought they were edgy and different, because my horizons were not expanded enough to have seen that in fiction yet. So I thought I was doing something original when it turns out it's just a different take on something else. Womp. But I enjoy sharing that kind of stuff. Oops, forgot. I love that kind of stuff with I like the OC sharing chat type of thing. I feel like every single time you say, "All right, here I go, I'm gonna share," and then you literally change topics, I'm like, I think someone's deflecting. Like, I've asked Melts about Cinna before. I don't know if Melts is still here. Melts might be lurking. About Cinna before. It's like, he's like, Melts is like, Cinna exists. That's the story. Like, oh. Was I gonna share? Not with that attitude, you're not. Okay, fine. I'll help narrow it down for you. What's the story about the OC that you made that you stole the hat from? From the Harvest Moon game? Since that's kind of topically relevant in some way. Which I think is... Oh, gosh, I said... Oh, I already said that. Wait, what? Did I miss it? Did it go by that fast? Man... You DM'd it to me. Well, that's fine. You can talk about it here. I'm sure other people don't know. You might have DM'd it to me a long... Oh, wait. You said she was like the ultimate something. She was like a Danganronpa style character. I do remember that now. I do remember that. It's been a while since we talked about it. Because you told me a little bit about it after you made the edit. The ultimate unlucky student. Oh, I thought you said... Okay. Maybe I misremembered. The ultimate unlucky student. Probably comes from wearing that hat. Yes, I do remember the picture. I remember the picture that you DM'd after you made the edit. No more space for this item. I need to give this to a lady. Vesta, you around? I can't get rid of this. I ain't going there. But if this isn't how I have to do it. Where her name at? I think the reason why I started developing original kind of stories type of thing is because back when I was a kid and I tried to do stories based on things that already existed, let's say like Sachi Yosada, is that how you say that? Or is it Saki? That's a different way of saying that. I don't know. You gonna eat the flower, Vesta? Alright. Pop off. Who puts the hutch against the wall with the sink punched in front of it? Yoshida. Sorry, not no Yoshada. I wasn't reading. I swear that I can't read. I can't do it. Guys, I try. But, Sachi. Except the ones that aren't Japanese. You know, that's the funny joke that you mentioned that, because I was literally thinking a similar thing in my head. Like, I mentioned the fact that, like, Aqua's name is just like, oh, it's just another language for the word water, which is, like, it's supposed to be a joke back before she was a serious character. I mean, granted, now I can't picture her being named anything else. But, the funny thing is, I made this joke in my own canon that, like, the name Aqua is, despite her being an important character nowadays and supposed to have some important roles to fill, Aqua's name is literally probably among water human culture one of the most common names. Like, you know how you'd be like, the most common name in the world for, I think in English is John Doe. Literally, that's like Aqua, but in water human culture, where like Aqua's like the most common female name among water humans. I just thought I'd mention that because I thought it was funny. It's like, oh, she's so special. I think Rampa OCs. You made report cards for them? Yes, because it sounds nice. The only other character I really know of that's properly... I only know of 2 other characters that are called Aqua, I think. One of them is some character from Kingdom Hearts that I don't know anything about, but she also has blue hair. And the other one is from that one anime, you know, the freaking useless water goddess or something. So I'm like... Do the Danganronpa OCs have a story that accompanies with them, or they just exist? Is my character sad again? No, he's just neutral face. See, I don't know what chest 30 means. I don't know my measurement. I would be one of those people that, like, you hear the people ask for their measurements. I'm like, bro, I don't know how these translate in real life. 5'4", though. That's a very adorable height. Always approve. 99 pounds! That is so thin! October 28th. See, I couldn't tell you what blood type Aqua is. I always have a hard enough time getting her freaking birthday down. What did I have in the official canon? I have that page here, actually, now that I think about it. Aqua's official birthday. This doesn't seem right, because I thought it was in September. I thought her birthday... I might have to tweak this. I have it written down as June 17th, 509, or in more accurate timeline would be 1997, in terms of how she's aged. So, to get Aqua's, I guess, quote-unquote, canon age, just take the starting date as 1997 and then add whatever the heck it is now. But her canon year she was born in was 1509. I don't work on it. It's pretty neglected. She homeless and barely eats. Yikes. That is sad. I thought for sure I had Aqua's birthday in September. I don't remember it being June. Not that it really matters too much. Funny thing is, I think I had based certain information on Aqua when she was 9 years old, based off of my sister, Curry. At the time, like when my sister was Aqua's age, at that time, I had based a lot of her physical appearances off of her. Granted, they have now grown up to completely different characters, but still. Maybe she had a different birthday when she was 9. Maybe I don't know. You have difficulty keeping things like dates straight when you have people that literally have time traveled. Like Aqua's not over 500 years old because of that year 509. It's like Aqua is basically indirectly time traveled. She kind of had like an Avatar: The Last Airbender type of moment where you're like in a cryo sleep sort of. Because she was born in that year, and was born in that era. And then one day you wake up and you're in the freaking 2000s. It's like, what? So she would have been come around to modern time in 2006. How many stories did I do with time travel in any way? It used to just be like the 1 or 2, but that's just because technically I've retconned certain things. It wasn't time travel at will, but I guess technically the main story had a form of time travel. But what I more so write in is less time travel specifically, and more like timeline distortions or timeline like problems. Let's say like the time stream being messed up in different ways rather than actual time traveling. But the story does have elements of time travel in it, but just not like for example, the character in my story who's named Eric, he's from the same period of time that Aqua is. But while Aqua was like in sort of like a cryo sleep, Eric literally just used technology from the future and traveled to the time period. So they both Aqua and Eric are from the same time period. They knew each other before the time hop, and they both got to the future in different ways without aging. The old Chrono Cross, that's Chrono Cross is cool, but the problem with it is that I haven't played Chrono Trigger yet, and there's not really a way in what is that? There's not really a way in modern time right now to easily play Chrono Trigger, unless it's on the Nintendo Switch Online, but let's be fair, it's Nintendo Switch Online. The good games probably aren't there. Nintendo Switch, we have games. Not the ones you want, but we have games. I'm getting hungry. I'm Chrono Triggered. That's a good one, Ramirez. Love that. Does the technology get in depth? Oh. Kind of hand wavy. Here's the thing. I want to retcon certain elements of it because I had wrote the time traveling element to it when I was like 14 or 15 maybe, and I didn't really understand the consequences of doing the type of thing to a story canon. Because future. So here's okay, I'm gonna get even more lore on you. Like I had mentioned the last time I talked about this stuff, is that the roleplay was based off of, it started off being based off the show Code Lyoko, and it was a Code Lyoko themed roleplay at the beginning. So here's the thing. The time travel that brought Eric to the future, from the past, from Aqua's time, that was based off of working with at the time, the supercomputer, which was a high-powered machine that literally housed a virtual world inside of it, and the evil computer life form inside. If you've ever seen Code Lyoko, I'm just giving you a gist of it. Could control things inside the virtual world to affect the real world. it didn't make sense, even though it was technically futuristic technology in a modern day. So what the character did, the character had a way to communicate with the future, which is present day, from the past, and figure out how said supercomputer could work when he doesn't even understand the concept of it anyway, and manages to travel to connect to it and time travel through it into present day. It was really, that was kind of how I sort of justified it. A super genius from 500 years in the past, limited by his technology, gets a hold of technology from the future and figures out how to communicate with the future and pull himself to that time frame. Aqua's, initially hers was, I've just been pulled out of from the past by a very powerful being to help with some stupid, non-really specific plot point, which was Aqua's original thing, and I've decided to retcon Aqua's until, like, she went into some kind of, basically like a carbonation kind of chamber type of thing. It was a specialized capsule for preserving things, and she got stuck inside of it and wasn't wasn't open for like almost 500 years. So Aqua and Eric both got to the future for completely different methods. Yes, essentially, yes. Exactly. All because she was scared that her sister was going to murder her, which wasn't even actually true. But when you're 9 years old, things that you don't understand are scary. How she got involved with such a device, you know, I'm gonna have to figure out one of these days. I feel like if I ever properly make the story for something tangible in the future ever, I'd probably have to negate the fact that she's from the past, but I don't know how I'd do it, considering how much of her lore is tied to it. The same cryo-sleep time thing. No, I get it. It makes sense. I know what you're saying. But remember, this is just me from, like, 15 years ago, or whatever, or when I was 15 years old. That's almost the same thing now. 14, 15. Doing things for the sake of because they were cool, and didn't think much about the lasting consequences of them until later on. Well, in my canon, you could literally go to different worlds, too. It's not too difficult. Like, if anyone's ever seen, like, say, Sliders, or some other show or media where you go between different versions of a reality or a world or something, like, that's a concept that our world goes into. Like, man, like, our fiction was not big enough to be contained by one world. We have to have a whole bunch of them. My friend Caleb, you guys have probably seen him in the chat before. He's a member of said group, and is the major contributor to a massive amount of that our world's lore. And he was the one that started Other Dimensions. And that opened up so many more different possibilities, because then you have stuff like counterparts of people. Like like you from a different reality, but literally everything about that world is different. It's super confusing. It's like, it's cool because it just means you have more possibilities for things, and it helps relegate the fact that, you know, how could one planet have so many world-busting threats? Here's the answer. They don't all come from the same one. They come from different ones. But the thing is, when you're doing the same type of thing for 10 plus years, exactly. When you're doing the same thing for 10 years, you eventually run out of ideas for things. You need to start expanding to be able to keep doing something new. It's like explaining it to someone for the first time, it's extremely overwhelming, but, like, it's one of those overwhelmings that once the abnormalcy of it sets in, it's pretty fun. That's true. The thing is, though, once the interdimensional stuff became I gotta go water the plants, became a facet of the story, it was pretty well rooted in it. Like, there'd be times where most of the plots happen off-world and you're not even in your own dimension anymore. But Caleb handled building the lore so well that as soon as you had a grasp on the idea of what was happening, it wasn't hard to follow. Like, literally, he has a character that basically is, like, all-knowing in that stuff, but his whole point is explaining it to people in ways that, in layman terms. Like, it's very simple to understand, but it's a very daunting subject to hear about without any context. And apparently it only started off because one of the characters got misplaced in the world and they didn't know what to do with the person. So they did different world thing, and then that just kind of kept expanding, and like it got kind of crazy. That's why in my own story, most of the stuff that happens in that world happens on the same world. It doesn't venture into abnormal off-world stuff really at all. It touches on, I touch on it very early on, but just briefly, because the story's not going in that direction yet. But it's like, you know, you're planting the seed of information early on, so that way when stuff comes up later, it's not like completely out of left field. But then you have that really rough spot of figuring out how to balance lore with story, especially when the story's not going in that way yet, but it may go into that way in the future. I cannot believe I've been talking about this long. It started off with the stream with the boxes over there being pushed over by a ghost, and then here we are. Chrono Cross released from 3 to 5 a.m. Like, I love talking about it. I love explaining it, and there's, like, a lot of fun to it. The thing is, I will say this, all this stuff and all this lore that I've been talking about with this kind of stuff, it was never designed as a story in mind specifically. It was a game that we all did. We all would expand on the world, and we would all do our own little storytelling bits where other people actively interacting with it and enjoying it as the world. So it's a different aspect to put it as a story that you're not directly integrated with, if that makes sense. That's how it started. It's like how it started, how it's going. So it was definitely more easy to grasp, but when I tell people that, it's like, what? You're losing me here. But then again, we had been doing the roleplay for a couple of years before we even implemented something that bizarre. Okie dokie, Ramirez, you have a good night, man. Hopefully I will see you there on Friday for Sonic. Kind of fitting that we've decided to do Sonic on Friday, considering that's when the movie comes out. That was unintentional. Autobots, transform and roll out. Autobots, let's roll! I love doing the Mickey voice. I'm very sorry that I've been going on so long. To be fair, not a lot really has been going in my life to talk about. Like, do you want me to talk about my taxes? Because, oh boy, that's a real freaking headache and a half. Man, that's what I did most of today. It's 1 a.m. in the game. Saturday, by the way, will... Heck yeah, tax chat. It's like, have you seen that new terminal montage that came out on April Fool's? So, taxes. No, but I hope that when I get to actually fleshing out those stories and posting them for everyone to see, it won't be so overwhelming and daunting. It's quite possible maybe one day, if I go a whole completely my own type of direction with it and not have as much influence from my friends' stuff, I may kind of scrap that type of thing. But knowing how much story building I did using other worlds as a base, like, think about it for... Okay, so... Shoot me an unrelated question. That's true. Give me a second to think. Like, if you think about it, it's like in any world, be it comic book or anything like that, video game, it's like, it feels unrealistic for one world or whatever to have like dozens and dozens and dozens of reality type of breaking threats. I always felt more like superhero stuff was crazy. It's like, man, how you only got like freaking 75 people there trying to deal with New York City? Like, how does that make sense? So having extra worlds just helps make that feel quote unquote more normal. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't mean to tangent right before you asked the question. Let's see. Maybe not so much OC related, but what is, because you mentioned different stories, what is the one story that you probably put the most work into or the longest amount of time into? Because, like, yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Gotham is crazy. So much crime in one city. That's what that's what our roleplay tried to clear up. It's like, you know, thin it out. Like, yeah, it all happens where the plot happens, but like it comes from different places. But anyway, like, what is the story or what type of story is the one you put the most work into or spent the longest amount of time on? Or if there are different ones, which ones are both of those? Where is... What is that? Mandarin and Manjage. I love this game's funky, weird food, but man, does it get confusing sometimes. Too bad no wasabi. Done with all the housework, Celia? I actually really liked the name Celia so much. Actually, one of my character's kids is actually named Celia, just because I loved the name so much. I know, hun, you're talking about the oranges and the potatoes and the sucking. Pause. You learn a lot about sucking being married. You want some? Not based off anything. Korean 19 chapters. Well, then what's it about? Hit me up a little bit with that, then. That would have been... That's the next question I was going to ask, which is sort of an extension of the first one. And even if it's a little difficult to go ahead, like, you've heard me talk about all this stuff that seems difficult to understand all this time. Hit me with it and see if I can't comprehend it. I've done with some crazy stuff. I want to see if I can handle this. Can I go water scrub the thing? I want to ride you, Hatenko. Pause. This will give me a moment to calm my freaking tongue. My jaw feels like it's sore from talking so much. Can I, Hello, Gallon. Hey, good morning to you. This is blah blah blah. I know, this season.
Ooh.
I was trying to freaking... He is peacefully resting here.
Ooh.
You're not gonna... Okay, well, I guess we're not doing that right now. Gallon's out for the day. Sometimes you can come here early enough and you can wash the gravestone. Now that I think about it, while I await Isolate's response, this game actually, because it came out around the time I was really big into making our story world, this game actually had a lot of impact in certain areas about it. It's like nothing crazy like, oh, made the farming things in the thing, but that's not really what it was. It was just, there was something about this game that I associate with that time in my life where I did a lot of that creative stuff. So it's like, this was another facet of my creativity. So it was like, because this kind of almost feels like farming role-playing anyway. You wouldn't write a story about farming role-playing, but you know, there's a lot of headcanons you have in there. It's like a lot of things and stuff. I had some stuff that I would consider story-based stuff that, I would say was inspired by this game. Man, I am hungry. I haven't eaten anything since before I did my taxes. And that was like 5 o'clock today. And it's 1 o'clock. I definitely need to go and eat. I know eating at 1 o'clock is not good, but man, I'm hungry. I had a little piece of that chicken when we started the stream, because I literally would not have been able to get through the stream without having something in my stomach. Right now, just thriving on sugar water, which is just tea. Man, Ness, you got through a lot of that game. I like to take my times with the Harvest Moon and Rune Factories. I don't like to get married right away, but I also don't want to wait too long. It also feels weird to get married before a story is over, because it's like, well, what happens if the story changes your feelings on different characters and stuff? One of the reasons why I have never gotten married in Rune Factory Frontier. I want to go back to that game and finish it. I don't remember what I was doing in it. We were episode 100. I went very far to that. That and Tides of Destiny. I want to go back to both of those games. There we go. See, some topical conversation based on the video game we're playing. I'm gonna be honest. I mostly streamed this game because I figured I might have a lot to say about this kind of stuff, because it's been bottled up for a while, and the idea of unleashing it on some people was appealing to me. Kind of tied to the main. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's the reason why I like the Iris girls from Frontier. Like, the homie girls that are tied to the plot are fine, but sometimes the ones that are tied to the plot are just really good. Like, I get most of the time Mist is the girl tied to the plot, but I've never been a fan of Mist in terms of a marriage candidate. I've always liked her as a character because she's goofy and funny, but never as a marriage candidate. Whoops. Oops. I've killed Isolate. I'm sorry, chat. I murdered him. You witnessed a murder here. I'd be like, I speak about your secret passion project. I's like, and that's it. It's over. Isolate's dead. First arc. Here goes through events and pertain to them. Oh, okay. Also, plots like Harvest Moon plots where you have amnesia and then you like get it back. I feel like, man, imagine going through getting a marriage while having amnesia and then your memories come back. You'd be like, oh my god, I have made a terrible mistake. I'm just messing with you, Ice. I'm just messing with you. I think stories that are difficult to sum up in just probably a few paragraphs usually mean either they're overly complicated, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, or they have a lot going on for them, and that's usually a good thing. Better for a story to have depth than to be shallow, you know, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. Okay. I follow you so far. I don't know why. I think it's because you used the word terrorist. My brain immediately went to Final Fantasy VII, just because of that word. That game loves to throw around the word terrorist. Yeah, I haven't got back my memories of Rune Factory before. I noticed. Yeah. The Rune Factory games love to shove amnesia down your throat. I'm like, bro, just why do we always have to be an amnesiac? Van, no! Ruined everything! I was fishing! Alright, Van. We're gonna fight. Let's go. Hi, honey. You're so cute today. I just want to grab your face going. She's got one of those little faces. Those little chubby cheek faces. She's so cute. The traveling arc and then the war arc. I love it when stories have like a traveling arc to them, because usually it's like you learn so much both about the characters and the world at the same time. It's like as you're learning about the world, you're learning about the characters and how they factor into it. I always love that when it's done right. It's not always done right. Let's look at Dragon Quest XI. Actually, no, Dragon Quest XI's beginning travel arc is fun. It does that right. The second traveling arc, where you're re-traveling all the areas you've been to for nonsense plot, That's not so good. But I love that. I love it's a great way to establish both lore and characters simultaneously because you're learning about both things together. 400G, nice. Yeah, 960. Yeah. We haggle over here in my house. Dude, that's crazy. Being able to flesh out a bunch of cultures and stuff like that, like from scratch, and from, I'm assuming you said completely diverse characters. So it's like, I don't know if these are real, like, type of, like, say, you know, like other races of creatures or whatnot. And here I thought I was having a hard time establishing Aqua's past when it came to her water human heritage, because I didn't do a whole lot with it, despite the fact that I wanted to. But that's mostly because it's not relevant to the story I'm trying to tell. Not that it's not relevant in general. Some people are just lore buffs, and I love that. I'm the guy that when you play a shooter game, I'm the type of guy that actually likes to read the papers that you find and learn about whatever the heck's going on, rather than just game playing through it. I wish that there was other ways to do it other than that, but I love that. I love flavor text is one of my favorite things because it fleshes out so many things about it. Or, you know, another example, like the heart-to-heart events from Xenoblade Chronicles. They're not required for the plot, but seeing them really fleshes out both characters and world. I love that kind of stuff. I love it. Well, Ice, if you weren't sure, you've already have me invested. Just 80. At this point in the game, I really don't even know what the point money is for anymore. It just, like, it feels like if I'm not making money, it doesn't make sense. Sometimes that's just how life be. You have money and you don't have anything to spend it on. Usually it's the other way around, but in this situation, it's not. No, I haven't seen the... Wait, for the credits for what game? Valkyrie 5? Of course not. I haven't played it yet. I don't watch the... What the heck did he say? The aforementioned... Misled. Ah, so you have different cycling villains. Okay, that's cool. I always like when stories have more than one base level villain. Like, oh, it's just... No. I get it. You don't want to sit here and write an essay, but you do want to accurately describe what you're trying to say. I don't think so. I get the feeling. That's what I felt like I was doing, just like for the last hour and a half. But I do know what you're saying. Sometimes you gotta, like, you gotta explain it somehow. Sometimes stuff needs explanation. I just always look to the parallels of my own work, like I ain't gonna sell that. Like have a main villain that starts. It's kind of like. Plot as a backseat, characters in world number 1. That's my favorite types of stories. Like, that's the story I'm trying to write with my story right now. Like, it starts off having a plot that's kind of sort of a back burner plot because it feels like it's not one that doesn't feel connected right away because you're still I'm trying to still get you involved in the story, in the world and the characters first, and then once you're a little more familiar with both, the plot starts the villains start happening a little more forefront, I guess. I typically don't watch credits for games I haven't played, though. So that's there's that. Like I said, like the first major villain of the story I have here is like the racist against powered people type of character, but then another villain comes along from the background behind that and kind of puts that villain in his place, because what's happening more is a lot more than a small racial issue with people that's leading a basically a racist gang. It becomes kind of crazy. But since the problem is I'm writing my story more as almost like a series, it's not really one where I see a definitive end in sight, because it's just constantly about, like, I like the idea of making more stories out of a same cast, so it's like then you're seeing them react to new situations, and rather than having a whole new cast every time or something. One thing I wish I had worked more on in the early chapters, I can't really change as much at this point, but I'm trying to going forward, is having more time for the characters to be characters and adjusting to their world rather than being pushed in from one threat or incident to the next. But again, I wrote it for people that had a different... I had originally wrote it for people that already had established stuff in mind, and it suffered a bit. So I'm trying to work on it. So the second major arc is where it's really going to start feeling a little more hopefully properly paced, but that's the one I haven't started writing yet because I finished the first major arc, and again I'm trying to hold off a little bit before I start the second arc because I need to get some feedback on it before I go forward and continue making mistakes I probably don't need to make. I'm so sorry to anyone in post that's watching this later on that just does not care. I'm so sorry. I keep going back to these subjects, and I think we've had new people in here tonight, and I already feel like I've scared them away because I'm not talking enough about Harvest Moon. You signed up for VOD Frogs. Interesting. Oh yeah, Doctor Strange just come out next month, doesn't it? I'm not, I guess I wouldn't say I'm excited for it, but I definitely want to see it because it does look like it's going to be pretty good. I love the idea of exploring worlds with multiverses as long as they don't botch it. It's such a good subject matter, but it's such a delicate one too because it's like juggling. It's like balancing one of those little finger birds on your finger. Have you ever seen those ones that old people have? Those birds that you balance on your finger and you try to keep it steady so it doesn't fall off. It's like it's fun while it's balancing there, but then as soon as it falls off, the fun's over. It's kind of like that, where it's like, I love the idea of multiverse and different universe type of stuff, but it just opens the way for so much wrong to happen. Like, so much could fall apart. They did do it in the last Spider-Man movie. I will say that they did it like that, but I don't know enough about Doctor Strange lore to know whether or not they're going to botch it with that. I don't know. I'm not one of those people that thinks anything that Marvel touches turns to gold, so... Super complex summary of the story. Apologies again for the fact that you asked. No, I mean, I think it sounds very interesting. I don't know what everyone else would think if they were paying attention to it. I'm not sure. Since I'm reacting to it, I'm assuming people are paying attention, at least somewhat. I don't know what other people would like. That would be Disney. I know that, but... Oh, please don't start with saying everything Disney touches is gold. Oh, let's not start there. Oh boy. Vaughn, Sora, DM me. Tell me what you think. You just go, and then Sora's like on it. Had to pull out the second keyboard for that one, my clicky clacky one. I know they've owned Marvel. I am very well familiar. That's the thing, you need to hear feedback about kind of stuff like that, because like feedback is what makes this stuff grow. I saw somewhere, like I've said it before, that like never stop creating things like original stories, original characters, be it if you're an artist or a writer or whatever. Because again, you never know what will be, important one day. It's important to you, so it's like, but you never know what will be important to others and stuff like that. It's like, again, like I said before, I'm not trying to turn it into something that becomes some big, huge thing one day. I feel like that kind of, you can't control whether that'll happen or not. At least in terms of, like, what's popular in terms of a writing perspective. I mean, I could very well one day, if I get it ironed out, actually publish one of the books. That doesn't mean it's going to be a hit just because I publish it, though. That's what I'm trying to learn from that kind of stuff now when I'm quote-unquote younger, so that I can actually, put something out there one day that touches the world, that actually is something that actually hits people. You title drop it? I mean, you can title drop it, I don't mind. Yo, it's Nami. How's it going, girl? The redhead of town. Actually, no, you are literally red. Katie's ginger. They're different. That's the whole point. I'm much happier and healthier in the spring. Like, in a way, I have a definitive end for my story, but at the same time, it's after so many other types of smaller stories in between it that it's like, it feels like it could go on forever. Banana was really good. Again, the banana I gave you, like, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
He's still talking about it. It was freaking magical for him. He never even wants to have another banana again because that one was so good. Touch people, I mean, inspire people. Well, Ice, you don't know how actually happy it makes me to hear the fact that, I'll take a drink. We'll have ourselves a Moo Moo milk. I wonder if it's actually alcoholic milk. The thing is, I'm not necessarily... Dude, he talked to me and wanted to get me another drink. But, I'm not in a rush to get to my ending because I want to have fun as I'm going there. Honestly, the longer time goes on, the more ideas I keep having that keep extending the ending further and further. But I guess part of me always thinks about, like, what if it ever turned into something big one day and it was like a show or a video game series? I feel like if I had the choice, I'd prefer to have it be done as a video game, but like having it done like a manga, not a manga, like a animated series would be cool too. Just not because of the sake of, oh, I want something big and successful. I'd be like, man, I would just love to see someone be able to interpret what I've done and put it into something like that, something physically tangible in a way. Like, and then part of me thinks, man, but what kind of video game would I make it into? Would it be like an RPG or something? I've always wondered about that. What? What? Be careful with some of the dual blades, and in fact, it looks like even Platinum can get... What? Elemental? I don't understand. Not exactly what you're warning me about on that, honestly. Dude. If I ever saw a video game based off of my stuff, I think I'd just cry. Because it'd be like, man... But I feel like I'd be too persnickety to let other people write plots for it because I'd be too attached to the stuff myself. With party members with movesets written down. I mean, that's kind of part of the reason why I designed my group and my story the way they did. I will dream. Each one of my characters is a completely different combat style. Like, I'll go over them briefly. Like, the character Rem, he's a sword and shield fighter that... Sword and Shield is his specialty, but he also uses energy-based attacks. But he's not like a powered human, so he can't use their special abilities or anything. He can just use the energy from it. Like, for example, Rem as a character, he can't conjure up, like, fire and, like, do special manipulations, like say like how Aqua can bloodbend. Rem can't do that, but he can like form attacks out of water or say bubbles or whatever, ice, and use the attacks and energy-based moves. But he can't like do massive raw manipulations of them because he's not connected to it on that level. Because he's a pure human. He's not he doesn't have any powers. He has like gauntlets that have orbs of energy that let him channel those energies, but he can't actually fully control it. He can kind of just, tap into it briefly. Aqua, obviously, I've gone on as like hydrokinesis and stuff like that. The character Eric, he has both pyrokinesis and a special type of darkness ability. Now, in our continuity, darkness is not necessarily evil power, but because most games and media makes darkness is evil, not necessarily. He's more of an energy-based fighter, though he can use a sword, but he's also the gadget guy. He makes all the gadgets. He's the super smart one. So even though he has all these energy-based powers that he can use naturally, he also likes to fall back on the amounts of gadgets he can build. Then another character who's named Raylu, he's kind of like a beast character. He's not exactly a like werewolf, but he's something like that. So he's more of a physical body character that uses like the aura energies, because Raylu is the character who taught Aqua about her abilities with that. Which one of you cows did it? I heard you. Those are the energy-based fighters I have for the main party. There's like the 4 of them. And then the other 4 characters... Raylu is one of my favorite characters, but he's also like a character that is very underspoken. He doesn't talk a lot. He doesn't like to talk about himself. He's mostly all serious, but he has a very deep, caring compassion for people he knows, and has a moral-bound duty to attack. Do they have last names? Oh, yes. Rem's is just a variation of mine. Like, my last name is Pollock. His name is Stratford, which is based off my middle name, because people always say I have a really cool middle name. So, Rem's is Stratford. Aqua's is Aquarius. Aquarius, not Aquarius. Not like the star sign, but it's spelled similarly. Eric's last name's Eric Nightingale. Raylu's, I actually don't have a last name for him, but just because Raylu is like another character that hasn't been super fleshed out yet. Like, I have a lot going on for his backstory, but like, since for a while Aqua was a major... These are still wet. A major character in my developing. A lot of my passion was turned to her, so Raylu's was like put on the back burner. Like, he's got a fleshed out backstory, but the last name's a little tricky on it because I haven't sure what kind of last name to give him. And then the other 4 cast members, which are all humans, and they're all completely different combat styles. There's Ralph Falco, and without going into too much of him, he's kind of like the bro type character. His weapon style, he uses dual pistols or dual energy blasters, whatever type of thing you would think, with a subspecialty and explosives. He loves explosives. So having a character, and he's very kind of like an aerodynamic fighter. He's the kind of a fighter that would move all over the place and overwhelm his enemies with like explosives and shots from all directions. He's very much a overwhelming type of fighting character. Sora, I think his last name is Lightheart. I think is what I had his last name be, or something like that. He's he's like a dual sword specialist. I know, the water in this game is always really good looking. I never understood why. It's like some of the graphics in this game just pop off. For GameCube era, it doesn't make sense. I put a lot of thought on them. Sora's is probably one of the weaker ones. But yeah, he's mostly dual sword specialist, but considering most of the people they fight, Sora ends up being kind of useless because when you can't be lethal with your opponent, a sword fighter is gonna be struggling when he has to mostly wield a pistol. Another one is Kyrie Lockwell, and she's like a brawler. She does a lot of hand-to-hand combat, not quite like Raylu, like a literal beast, but hers is like punching and kicking type things, and in terms of her, like, has like kind of those energy blasts from her hands, from her gloves, and like a weapon specialist in terms of like shotgun. She's very much a close range fighter all the way, with very little support in her range abilities. And the last one was Brett Potter, and he's kind of based off of a real person I know. And he's all about long range. His specialty is he's an expert sniper and other long range based weaponry. So his whole point is about keeping his foes away from him and taking them out before they even get close. All of these characters like have like subspecialties in being able to use a basic pistol or energy sword, mostly because they're more like as emergency weapons, and it's not their fighting style. It's just in case you get stuck up in someone in the air and you can't hit him with a sword, you gotta have something. Chummy actually drew a good portion of them and posted them a while back, but she didn't finish all of them yet. Like, some of them they have descriptions, but like usually sometimes Chummy takes a creative inspiration with them, and she ends up making them look better and more unique than I even had in my mind. So, like, for example, I just kind of had Kari's description as kind of a short, kind of brownish orange hair, and then Chummy be like, I'm gonna do a fro. And it's like, now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. Like, not like a crazy fro, but like a small one, and it's like, what? Kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like a Haru type of, like, a fluff fro. It's nothing over dramatic. But she drew it, it's like, man, I couldn't see it. Reality is whatever she wants it to be. Well, exactly, that's kind of why when Chummy draws Aqua, it's very much not what Aqua looks like, but it's like, it's too beautiful to critique. It's like, this is beautiful. I love this. I don't care if it's inaccurate to what I thought in my head. I love this. and that's her art style. My sister Chummy, she leans on the extra thick art style, and that is her specialty. At least for girls. For her dudes have kind of standard body types. They do seem to be somewhat chiseled a little bit, but then again, you know, when a girl was drawing a dude, the girl was gonna want to draw the dude to be appealing, correct? So, I mean, the sad thing is, most of my OCs, I don't have a lot of great art to work with it. Like, a lot of the art I had for Rim is very outdated because Wendy drew it years ago, and it's not really reflective to what his character looks like anymore. So it's kind of difficult. People also kept forgetting to draw him without his scar half the time, so it's like, Chummy drew one picture of Rim, and it's like, it's with Aqua, and it's not like a bad picture, but he's not the focal point, it's about what they're doing. Cursed beardless Rim? Yeah, he doesn't have, that version of Rim doesn't have a beard. But he also doesn't have a baby face like I do. Like, if you guys ever saw me without my beard, I'd probably look baby face to you. I gotta water this thing again, or fill up some more. Like, I have a bunch of other characters that aren't even part of that main story cast that have different other combat styles too. Like what I like to try and do is incorporate a different fighting style with each character, so that way when I'm writing with a different character as the focal point for combat, I'm using a completely different combat style, so that way it doesn't get slow and boring for me. I'm writing something fresh and different, so it stays exciting for me. There was a period of time where I was gonna have Aqua's primary weapon be a freaking like a light sword, like a fencing style sword, and I realized, man, I've used swords all the dang time. I gotta shake it up, and I haven't gotten to write much of Aqua with it, right? But I wanted to make her weapon be like the polearm, like a Naginata. I just mentioned that like a while back. The party does have a lot of dudes. A good portion of those characters was mostly because some of them were references to characters that I had did with a thing with a friend of mine, and he just happened to have a lot of dude characters. And at the time, I didn't have a whole lot of girl characters. I do have other girl characters, like a good number of them, but I'm having a nightmare. Most of those girl characters that I do have are not really forefront fighters. There are other girl characters that I have that are introduced somewhat early, but they're not really as integrated with the group I mentioned. And that's not that because they're not fighters, they're not really involved in the fight. And like near the end of the first arc, there's like another character that's added in that is a girl, but I don't want to go over that character too much right now because I don't want to spoil that for people that read. Like, a lot of the characters I have planned to join that party are characters that are actually girls, to even out that ratio. This party is split 50-50. That's probably a good way to have it, though. I even have my entire alien race have no genders. There we go. Finally not sad anymore. Oh, she walked through my body! I'm bending over, she's like, I'm going to phase through this man's intestines. Are you talking about Melts or my characters? Most of the cast is a human-based cast, so the idea of me writing that story that way, because okay, I just want to make sure. They kind of have a sort of a similar uniform feel, but their uniforms are all different. They're just kind of, in a way, color coordinated because it was meant to be like jokes to like superhero teams and stuff. Because when I wrote it, that was a big inspiration for me, was the superhero stuff. Like, you'll see it a lot in my character designs, my villains. What? What? What happened? Poor thing. That's what happens when you don't keep a close eye on them. This is what happens when you don't keep a close eye on them. Too late! Wait, what happened? Yeah, I'm depressed. Wait, what happened? Okay, I could probably reload. Hold on. Back to happy music. Give me a second. I'm gonna reload to the last save. But hold on. Where was... They all should have been outside. When did the cows get stuck? Wait! When did they get sick? Cow number. I loved her. I'm so confused. What happened? I was completely distracted. They all should have been outside eating and doing all this nonsense. They shouldn't have been. None of them. I hit the wrong button. I hit the new game button because in my haste. The only game that should be... What animal... What? How did that... I have medicine, so I go back to the night before with the save and give it medicine, but when did it get inside? Like, there was food... Like, when was it sick? This is what I'm trying to figure out. Like, I don't even know how that happened. Like... they all should have. I mean, it wasn't the baby. It wasn't the new baby. I thought that one would have made the most sense. Okay, so let me go in and check the signboard. Okay, never mind. I can't! What happened? I don't... Oreo, cream, a marble, Coco, Jeffrey, a Tanko. Okay, so it was the baby. It was the baby, but... Okay, I had to see it twice. I'm so sorry, Kane. I thought I could save the baby. Okay, so, yes, I can check the chalkboard, but the baby... The last time I talked to the baby, the status was fine. If you check an animal and it's not doing well, the game tells you. Born with an autoimmune disease. Oh my god. But when it was still a baby, and depended on me for food, it was still eating. It still said its condition was good. But then it's an adult, and it's like, it should have been out there eating with the rest of the animals. So I don't know how the heck that happened. It's like, nothing should have went wrong. Like, I know I wasn't paying attention that much to the stream. I've been distracted. But I wasn't that distracted that I wasn't feeding the animals or anything. The food box was full. How did it get sick and the game not tell me? God. If it just grew up from baby to adult. I did. It did get moved to the barn. But then what happened is the day after, when I didn't see the baby outside, I rang the bell to summon the animal outside. So I don't know how... I don't know. I don't know what that's like. I feel terrible about it. I don't know what I could have really done differently. I like it unless it was sick as a baby or something and it got sick. I got here just in time for death. Well, I'm sorry that you got here just in time for that, and to see it twice. I thought I could have reloaded. But I guess it was... The going in and out of my... What if it was already dead? But no, that doesn't make sense. That wouldn't have happened. I'm so sorry. Where's my food? Thank you. Wasn't Sean just fine? Doesn't deserve to live. I don't think it's been raining at all. It's been a very dry spring in the game. And none of the other cows are sick, so that's what I mean. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, to answer your question, Ice, before the death scared the crap out of me. Powered humans from the future assassinated it. Whatever, my friends eventually die. Oh my god. The idea of the story was to center around characters that are almost completely human and don't have any special gifts in terms of like special abilities, and then having them be pit against people that are like super powerful, and it's like you have that kind of like. They're put in, even though they're skilled and trained, they're put in an underdog situation against fighting things that they probably wouldn't normally ever be able to fight or be equipped to fight against. Which is why only Aqua, Raylu, Eric, and sort of Rim have powers, because they're the veterans. And I wanted people to more associate with the underdog characters that are powerless. Which is why they seem similar in background, because half of the staff cast is human. The other half is not. So I did almost the 50-50 split based on their genetics. I don't know why I chose them to be humans, but I think that's because all of my friends did different versions of powered peoples and demons, so it was like I was the guy that did the human characters and played and role-played the underdog characters. Rim will get his at the couch. I've done so well in this game and I've never had that happen to an animal. Wait, what? That's not what I meant! Stop, Ice. What have you done? Oh, boy. I don't care if people waifu my OCs. I think the mail won't stop. Yo, that you want to do that? Have at it. Like you said, it's the biggest compliment a character creator can have. But I do have more female-based characters planned to even out that cast. For that true gender Doki already has. Yeah, and I don't even understand how that happened, but it's there. Some interesting stuff about Senna. I mean, I can imagine. It's like that meme, looks female enough. I hate how they did crops in this game, too. It's so freaking slow. It's like the worst part of this game for me, gameplay-wise. It's just like... It takes a while to get through it. This is probably going to be the last game day to do. I just kind of didn't want to end on that note of cow death. And the conversations, I just kept carrying the conversations on, so there was really no point to cut a chance to cut it off. But I also just realized it's a little after 3 hours. But that's my fault for starting late, but that was also starting late because I was actually hanging out with some friends online that I haven't been able to hang out with in ages, so that's why I only plant trees. I can just do gardening in real life. True, but there is still more to it than just that. Like, there's the fishing, you can't go out there dating waifus in real life. Maybe not. I don't know. It depends. Well, for those of you that have been listening to it for this long, I don't know how long Melts has actually been here listening to it, but I appreciate everyone's interest in my stuff. I find it really fun to talk about. So no maidens then. I love that joke so much. I feel like if my characters are perceived as like sexy or are sexualized, I don't have a problem with it. But the weird thing is, I don't feel like, unless it's for a specific purpose, designing them to be like that is a little weird for me. Oh, of course you're asleep. The dating mechanic is weird too. Just go out there and live real life. Yeah, good luck having a farmer having all these babe options in real life. This is before farmersonly.com. Yes, never go for horny. Like, I could, but then it's like, I don't even know if I could in good conscience. That's what I mean. Like, one could say if you were just trying to make the OC of your dreams, Aqua would probably be a lot more heavy set, but it's like, that's not how I want to design her. Just sprinkle on top if you really have to. It's like, honestly, the picture I have that was commissioned by Neighbor, not an exact match of what I had set up for her, but it's very close to the image of what I had of her in my head. There's Van over here. Characters be clothed and sexy. It is possible. I said this before. It's like Aqua's original combat outfit I put in some of my other artworks is more conservative, I guess, in a way than the one that Chummy designed for her. It was like Chummy best dressed her down a little bit. Like, see, that's what I mean. It's like I was too afraid to do that, and B's like, pfft. I got this. I'm gonna redesign this. Because it's like Aqua's original combat outfit. I based it off of like one of the the Zero Suit Samus, but the one that's like the freaking shorts and tank top kind of one. But I had Aqua's be even more conservative than that. And then Chummy is like, let's have her have no legs on, and have a little hip cape. Hear me, Xenoblade designers. Dude, this designs for the girl characters for Xenoblade 3, they look really good. Like, both from just, like, they're very pretty, but they're also, like, they got that air about them. But they're also completely fully clothed and not like Pyra or Mythra. Like, I think Pyra and Mythra's quote-unquote centered designs are better than the initial designs. You heard it here. Don't make them walk around naked. Exactly. So, I mean, it's hard to take Mythra's character from Xenoblade 2 seriously when, like, half her boobs are hanging out and she's got, like, the most micro of skirts on. It's like, bro, I love the character as their character, but their design, it's like, this is waifu bait. And it's like, bro, I feel dirty. I don't mind if a character looks pretty. It doesn't matter. It's like, don't make that be the one note of their design. Is this the special edition? No, this is the original GameCube version. You put the game gets better with a censored outfit on. Exactly. Like, the game's already full of fan service. Being, like, in terms of their characterization, don't make it worse by making them literally half naked. You hate to see it. That was my problem so much with Xenoblade 2. Not so much the characters or the characterization or anything, but it was the fact that it was the fan service that was killing me. It's like, I don't mind fan service here and there when appropriate. I felt like Xenoblade 2 shoved too much ill-timed fan service in your face. Like, all the different shots where, like, oh, Rex wakes up, all of a sudden, Pyra's boobs are right in his face or something. Or, like, when Rex wakes up, Mythra's there, and her boobs are right in his face. It's like, bro, I get it. She has boobs. Can we move on to the next subject, please? That type of thing. It's like, that joke gets old after a bit. It's like, once or twice is something. That game did it way too many times. We stand Nia in this house. She's fantastic, honestly. They went full on her character development, and I love it. Pyra and Mythra's got good character too, though. That's the thing. It's distracting with every other aspect of their character in your face. Literally. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot. Pyra's a literally depressed person, and it's like, it's so sad and heartbreaking, but I'm having a hard time remembering that over those massive badonkers in my face that the game won't let me forget! Like, seriously! It's like, I get it! Let me enjoy the character, not the design, please! Man, game developers make an ugly character that has a great personality win. Never. They know it doesn't sell. Not all characters have to be gorgeous to be good. I stand for true gender equality. I don't know why this happened. Oh, I know why it happened. Never mind. I don't need to retrace back the steps. Point being, character design equals good does not equal fan service design. They don't have to be one and the same. Yeah, exactly. Seriously, like, come on. I like the fact that there's a little bit of development in terms of, like, in that bath scene thing, there's a nod to Nia's later on character development. But, like, literally, who's going to be paying attention to that the first way through? Like, no one's paying attention. I just want to love a girl for her personality. Exactly. Exactly. This is why I stan Haru. Right, hey, yeah, they did do that. I will say at least the hot spring scene from freaking Xenoblade 2 is better in terms of development and actual purpose than any of the ones in the entire Persona fandom. Any of them. They all need to be thrown out. The bedrooms... What, y'all play with boobs? I'm dying. That scene is actually legit funny, though, Isolate. That scene is funny to watch. The throwing of random objects. But the problem is those scenes happen at such terribly timed moments. Soon's confused the heck out of me. It's funny, but it's part of the problem. Exactly. That scene has no purpose to exist other than being goofy, but it's like it's not contributing. Oh God, no. Oh, you just made me cringe in my soul, Isolate. Why did you have to remind me of that? Other than that, it's awful. The fact that it's Nia that says it is hilarious. But then Rex gets slapped by Mithra for some reason. Didn't Nia say it? Or, I don't know. Point being, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts. Are you gonna walk back down to turn back around? Yeah, buddy, I love it when you do that. Oh, I love it when it's broken. Mithra and Poppy. Poppy is like a fantastic character in that game. A diamond in the rough. Again, the top 3 characters from that game, Zeke, Poppy, and Nia, easy. And Pyra, when she's not you're not forcibly reminded of assets. I hate the nerfs that the special edition has. So what game you're talking about? Isolate was specifically mentioning Xenoblade 2. But before you came in, we were talking about why he brought that up is because we were talking about bad characterization in characters, and Xenoblade does a pretty bad show of that, where it's like fan service in unfitting times, and that's Xenoblade 2. For a game that has a really good story and characters that have a lot of personality, that game just does fan service type scenes in the worst timings ever. The special edition of this game, I want to like it more than the original, but there's like for every pro there's a con. It's like I really hate the walking speed. The sound effect playing at 3 times speed makes me feel sick. I like the more cleaned up UIs and the HUDs and everything, but it's like, I don't know. I just feel like this version is superior, despite having glitches and bad font and texts and whatnot. Also, it's nice to see everyone here tonight, by the way. I need to do Harvest Moon streams more often, because it brings out the best people. Seeing Xenoblade's cast in 2 minutes. I get a story of... No, here's the thing, Ness. I want a story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. I do want it. I want it to exist. I want there to be, gameplay-wise, a definitive edition of this game. Because the difference between this and Special are, like... I want to take the best parts of both and put them together. But I'm just afraid that they're gonna do the art style and the gameplay like they did Friends of Mineral Town. I don't think they will, because Friends of Mineral Town was like the Story of Seasons version was based off the Game Boy Advance game. So that makes sense to be a top-down. But it would make no sense for this game to be remade and do a freaking top-down perspective with a chibi, super ultra cutesy art style. They should do it in a more kind of realistic art style, like what this game was trying to emulate. They probably will ruin the art, but I at least want to know that it exists, so that way I can or can't complain about it, and then come back to this game like a bad ex Actually, no, a good X. That, you know, it's like that episode of SpongeBob. I needed a replacement, Spat. It was a moment of weakness. I love that scene of that episode so much. All that glitters is not gold. Also, having quality of life and story elements from the Harvest Moon DS game wouldn't hurt either, by the way. You know, that would probably work too. Just clean it up. Implement the best versions, the best things of both Special Edition and this edition, and we can call it a day. No, I didn't mean to scrape that. Also, the best elements from Another Wonderful Life as well. I probably should have said that. There's never been a definitive edition of this game where you can pick to be boy or girl. You're always one or the other. It's one version or the other version, like Fire Red and Leaf Green or some nonsense. I haven't been talking to my kid in days. Pokemon moment. That was back in the day when Pokemon had to release a third version just to give you the gender option. I yearn for true gender equality. No one plays my game but men. Game Freak, probably. Dad of the Year moment. Yeah, I'm pretty terrible. I've been busy talking about my passions and my cow dying. So I'm a little bit preoccupied. I gotta plant new crops soon now. This tomato will wilt soon. Sorry, remember, tomato vines only grow one tomato. It's fact. The game's proved it. The cow died for some reason. The baby cow, which I don't understand how it died. Like, it doesn't make sense. Don't remind me. Cut it all down to size. It died as an adult, or as outside after the calf hutch. So I don't know when it got sick. When it's supposed to have been outside with the rest of the animals. That's why I don't understand. Like I've played the game. I've done it all before. I've never had that happen. So I don't know how it happened. That cow was like my only child. Meanwhile, your actual child was standing there behind you. I don't know if it was a bug or because I feel like I didn't see the baby anywhere, even though I called it out to the field and didn't put the animals back in. So I don't know how that it got, where it went, and how it got sick. But I don't know. Usually you get like a warning when the animal is sick. You have to be really, really bad to let it die. I don't know what that says about me. So I don't know how that happened. Do sick animals leave the barn or no? I don't know, but it did have food and didn't eat it, so I don't know. Its food bowl was full when it passed away. So I don't understand what happened. I don't know. To be fair, this game is so old and so weird, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a bug, honestly. I don't really know. So yeah, I think we're going to be wrapping up here in a minute. I am sorry if anyone in post or anyone here live just was not in a mood to hear me talk about everything that I did tonight. But if everyone was fine with it, I had a lot of fun, honestly. I had a blast, honestly. I like being able to talk about what I like to talk about, and people want to actually hear about it. And then it just time for saying this. Yeah, or not. Read my great text walls of China. From what I was there for it. Or the seed maker close to the marriage and the game wouldn't load past year 1. That's so weird! This game is bizarre. I think the problem was the game was punishing you for marrying Muffy. No. I'm kidding. Like, the game thrusts Muffy upon you. Oh, I'm thinking if I should keep streaming. Like, I want to keep going, because they're... I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. That's my brother's waifu of choice from this game. I like Muffy. Muffy is my second favorite. And I like her sad story. I just think her story was better in DS. But then again, everyone's story was better in DS. Ruchan Ordeem Rim Roaster Waifu. Oh... Do I keep going? I'm not sure. I want to, but it's almost 2 a.m. and I have work tomorrow. And I haven't eaten. I hate leaving with people still here. Hold on. Let me check something. I wonder if any of my mutuals are streaming. If they are, maybe I can send you guys somewhere else. No. And I'm not gonna stream raid no big streamers. He's gonna flip a coin. No. Oh. Let's just... Don't do it. Don't do what? It's been a good stream. I was thinking, can I finish? No. I'm not gonna sleep right away anyway, but that's probably all the more reason why I should stop now. Oh no, I have a second. I'll wrap up. We can do like questions for a little bit here before I send out. I would keep streaming, guys. I am sorry. We'll probably do another Harvest Moon style stream next Wednesday. I just don't know if I'm gonna do Innocent Life or if I'll do Stardew. I might do Stardew next. What is the meaning of life? Your mama. But yeah, go ahead. Anything you like to ask. Honestly, why is the sky blue? No! I'll do another Harvest Moon stream next Wednesday, and hopefully not a later time because I was preoccupied this evening. I expected to be busy in the afternoon. I was busy in the evening. Is Dragon new? Dragon? There is a there is a Discord. Anyone who's new in here tonight, there is a Discord in the description. And you may join if you wish. We do all kinds of things there, which is like talk to each other about things. Art and all that nonsense. And that's where I post my stream schedules because I can't be bothered to manage a social media page. That thing is difficult. And it requires me to be access to toxic environments all the time. But, oh, okay, there it is. The special edition. Checking around the deserted shed. You know, give me a second. I'll maybe check something real quick in the game. I have an army. No! Not Kudos! No! Oh no! So let's see. Let me check something real quick and make sure it's not in the other category. I have all the facilities. Okay. So, to answer your question, I believe that in the first game, which is this one, A Wonderful Life, the shed, the power of the gift sub, you are doomed. No! But, with this game, with A Wonderful Life, the original on GameCube, the first version of this game, the shed was just cosmetic, as far as I know. Though, to be fair, in other games, you get it later on, so maybe I haven't gotten far enough into the game to get the chicken shed, or the chicken yard. Because I know in certain games it unlocks at certain chapters. rather than just having 4 chickens, unless those triggers are different. But as far as I'm aware, and of what I've played, I do not think it is in the base version, but it is in all the remakes. I think it was added in the Another Wonderful Life on GameCube, and then the special edition took that feature and added it as well. Yes, like Hayden said. It's basically, this version on the GameCube is the only version that doesn't have it. But at the very least, in the girl, I don't know about the special edition, because I have not played much of that. But I do know in the girl version, he tears down the shed and puts a chicken fence out there. The thing is, though, I've never used really the chicken shed for anything. The chicken field, because I can't be bothered to take the chickens out every day and put them in that field just to put them away every night to get the eggs and stuff. I just never found it really worth it. So, I mean, yeah, it's great if you need to conserve food, but this game is so full of money, it's like, it feels kind of redundant. But I think it's there for the immersion more so than the convenience. But yeah, it's just in the OG, who needs a fence? I mean, I've never seen a chicken die, I will say that. So I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if it's just a glitch. I mean, the character can even die of stamina loss or pass out, so I don't know. These games, I know that these games, like the Wonderful Life saga of the first one, the girl one, the special edition one, there's tons of confusion in terms of what things are doable. Like, there's been tons of internet rumors and myth for years, and that was part of what the Let's Play of this game was about first, to investigate a lot of these myths and see if they were really true. And a lot of them I've kind of debunked, but like a lot of them are still confusing. Like with the gift tools and junk. A lot of it's really confusing, and I'm still not sure because this game is not well documented on the internet. Never had guides and stuff, like official guidebooks and all that. So it's like a lot of this game is and its other versions are a mystery, which is kind of why I would love to see a definitive edition, like on the Switch, that was all cleaned up and actually was well documented. But that's also kind of the charm with this game, is when I would stream it and play it. It's like, I wouldn't know if I would find something new and undiscovered. It was almost like just looking around and see, oh, maybe I'll find something this time, maybe I won't. Yeah, the guides for this game are freaking awful. I had to make my own guides as a kid for recipes and crop fusion and all that. With my party, my OC party had an arm wrestling tournament. Who would come out on top? It'd probably be it would probably be Raylu, but Kari might put her in a run for the money. That's if they're just using their natural skills and not power amplifying themselves. That's what I would say. Raylu's physically very strong, so. If an 8-person arm tournament, those two would be in the finals. I'll write that down. What is OC? OC is like original character. Is what we've been saying for all these OCs and stuff. Right. Funny thing is, like, Kairi's punk girl attitude seemed to be inspired by Tifa before I even knew who Tifa was. Kind of funnily enough. Like, Kairi's got a lot of personality traits I've noticed that Tifa Lockhart has from Final Fantasy VII. It's just kind of coincidental. Again, it's like accidentally referencing something that already exists but didn't know it existed because I didn't indulge in it as a kid. Like, again, I didn't know much about Final Fantasy at the time either, so it's like I didn't know. I just find it funny how that's how it worked out later on. Did my controller just die? Either the controller died or I swapped it off. I don't know. I might have sit there too long. Let me see. Is it dying? I don't know. Might just be coincidence. Oh, actually, you know what? Now that I'm sitting here for a little bit, as much as I love to keep entertaining you guys, because it's really been fun today, especially with a lot of you here and with the game and with the chatting. It's been real fun. But all things have to come to an end. We'll end on a high note. So like I said, real quick before everyone leaves, anyone who's new, I have a Discord in the description if you guys want to hang out and talk outside of stream. And if that's not your thing, Friday is the next stream. We're going to be beginning Sonic Adventure 1 on the GameCube. Wait, that's not the right one. It's, where's the box? Just wanted to show it off here a little bit. Got the OG, well, not the OG, the GameCube one. I don't have a Dreamcast, but for the original, I don't have PC for it. So Friday will be Sonic Adventure. Saturday will be continuing Mystery Dungeon. I wanted to give Sonic the better night of the week, so that's what I like to do for new series. And if you're still interested in Mystery Dungeon, that's Saturday. So that's what's going on. And now that I'm looking at the time, it's 3 hours and 40 minutes, and I'm so tired. So yeah, join me Friday for Sonic, and I don't know if next week I'll start. Cause I asked if I should start a Zelda game or a Sonic game this week today, and I don't know if I would start the Zelda game like right away. I probably should wait and clear out a few things first. Cause Sonic Adventure isn't gonna take that long to play. It's not very long, and it's not very hard either. But it will be fun. I haven't played Sonic Adventure in years. The last time I think I played Sonic Adventure is when I played it for my dad when I lived back with him years ago. Because this is the thing. Him and me used to play a lot of games together when I moved in with him. Where our festival is held in this game. There's one each season, and you just got to go to the right place at the right day. And that's literally all you got to do. Like, say, the one festival in January is New Year's Day. You just go into Romana's house. I don't remember the other four, though. Or the other three. I haven't seen the new movie yet. It's not out in my country yet. But I liked the first Sonic movie. I haven't seen the second one yet. It hasn't come out until Friday. So it'll be like the Sonic stream will be on release day, so it's kind of fitting for it. But I haven't played the Sonic Adventure one since I played it for my dad years ago, back when him and me, we didn't have a lot of TV at the time when I moved back in with him or got kicked out to go move with him. So a lot of things I did was introduce him to different types of video games, and I did it to Sonic for some reason. I was basically trying to get him invested in this Sonic series. And the funny thing is, after watching, I'll talk about it again on Sonic stream for sure. But like, he talked about like he felt like that based on the lore of what was happening in Sonic Adventure 2, he felt that Knuckles should have been the protagonist as like the main character. I'm like, you know what? You're probably right, considering how important the Master Emerald is to most plot points. Kind of funny how that worked out. He was very right on that. But then Knuckles proceeds to not be useful again after Adventure 2. Or Heroes, depending on your perception of the Heroes. Like, not that Knuckles contributes to the plot of Heroes. Talk about low budget flight, no food or movies. I'm out of here. Woo! Speaking of food, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten basically anything today, so I'm gonna actually end stream now for sure. Again, next Wednesday will be another Harvest Moon stream. I don't know if it's gonna be Stardew first, or if it's gonna be I'm gonna jump back into Innocent Sin or Innocent Life. I don't know. One of those two. I'll find out when I decide, and I'll post it in Discord when I have decided. It'll probably be Stardew because it's easier to jump into, but we'll see. I might change my mind. Anyway, I heard something up there. So anyway, have a good night, everyone. Thanks for joining me tonight and putting up with all of my rambling. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Not as good as the one where I was literally sleep-deprived rambling, but, you know, we gotta do what we gotta do. But have a good night, guys. I will see you guys Friday for Sonic Adventure, and next week for another Harvest Moon game. Have a good night, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye! Taxes are tiring.